Hello, everyone, and welcome back to what I have been lovingly referring to as Wildcard Wednesday. We're here with the skeleton crew, coming around, Steven and I together since the beginning of isolation, and it's getting crazy out there, but I'm excited for today because we are revisiting an old favorite, honestly, a game called Infinity. It's a miniatures game by Corvus Belli, and this is a company, we ran into Carlos, I think, at a Gen Con or an AdeptCon. I think it was Gen Con.
Carlos is a memorable person.
And Carlos is just a really awesome and nice person. He's a major player at Corvus Belli. But Infinity is a miniatures game. It was actually the first miniatures game, like proper, that I got into because we've been doing Monster Apocalypse
hobby minis
in like the 2010 range, and it's pre-assembled. And it was collectible, and it was a grid.
It was after War Machine, wasn't it?
Infinity? I thought Infinity and War Machine hit like.
I don't know. For us, they kind of hit at the same time. I feel like it was War Machine, and then I hit Infinity, because Infinity we were playing when we moved to this new store, and we were not playing War Machine when we moved to the
definitely
new store.
weren't playing War Machine.
Yeah. So I think this was after the War Machine Hordes phase. Yeah.
So and like there's these various classifications. I think the major categories of games, right? Card games, miniature games, role-playing games, and board games. If I had to have four quadrants in a box. And then each game kind of leans, like Arkham Horror is an example of a card game that leans role-playing game.
Yep, that's fair.
It's got those kind of elements. Skytear is a card game that is leaning miniatures, that's also leaning board game to me. Like, I think it's like wherever you'd put it on that diagram.
It's a Venn diagram.
Yeah, it's just like you have dots where it goes. Anyways, Infinity is much further down the like miniature train. So what that normally means, and I think we're gonna unbox this.
We're gonna look deep into this thing. We're gonna act like we just got it, which we kind of did.
We kind of did,
and kind of show off what's in there.
But hallmarks to me of miniature games are assembly required. So like Crisis Protocol is a good example of that. That is the biggest one.
Measuring tape.
Measuring tape.
An awkward way to do that.
Is like Crisis Protocol changes this with like templates, right? A game like X-Wing, there's no measuring. Monster Apocalypse, there's no measuring. So those aren't as full. But other things that signify miniatures games to me is when, assembly and painting is step one. But then part two, right, is like I'm looking at, is there terrain, right? Is there line of sight?
Is there cover?
Is there free form movement going on? Is there cover? Is there a hardcover 200-page rule book? And so that was the original Infinity. And now this is Infinity Code 1, which is kind of a re-release. It's a streamlined version of Infinity, which I'm excited about because Infinity to me was always like, it's that game that you always want to be into, but like the barrier to actually crossing the threshold on like feeling like I know what I'm doing and I'm comfortable, like basically.
We heard from a lot of people, privately and publicly, that exact thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I've always been super interested. The world is obviously super cool. If you can get into it, it seems like it's an incredible community, incredible game to be a part of. The system itself is innovative in the space that it's in, right? It's very interesting, the AROs, the way the reactions work, the way that you distribute orders. There's so much going for it. And I remember when we first heard about it at the old store, we were like, this sounds like the perfect miniatures game.
Yeah.
And then it was very heavy. It's a heavy game,
and
right?
the models are incredible.
Models are unrivaled.
Right, I think that's
unrivaled.
The characters that I had back in the day. I forget the faction name, but it was like I had Achilles, and he was this like modern-looking giant sword being held upside down, and like it was awesome. And Ajax, I remember having Ajax.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. We've seen it with GW, right? They did this. They kind of, I think, started on a macro level. They showed this trend that can be very successful, which is, it comes back to a concept that Jonathan talks about all the time, which is scaffolding learning. Mm-hmm. So you basically step people in one at a time. And so like with GW and 40K specifically, they introduced versions of the game, because 40K is the classic old, big, giant, sprawling, tons of terrain, tons of models, war game, right? This is war game.
Yeah, it's the game.
And then they started introducing skirmish versions, right? You have a lot less models, maybe some are pre-assembled, maybe it's simpler and streamlined. And the idea, right, is that there's going to be people of different tastes. And you can use these same models, right, across all these different formats of the game. And when you have an audience the size of GW, obviously, like that's a lot easier because you're going to have pockets of people that enjoy this version or this version or this version. So I don't know too much about this, but I feel like it's that version where it's like just more contained, easier to digest and play, which that is what I would need.
I know, right?
To actually cross the threshold.
Didn't that sound awesome? So Code 1 is basically, from what I can tell, this is an entirely separate and unique line of products. So only Code 1 product can be be used in a Code 1 tournament environment, if you will.
So like these models aren't compatible with Infinity, or
They are. So
Okay.
the big game, yes, everything's compatible. It's the models you can use, etc. But if you're playing in Code 1 format, only the Code 1 releases like are usable. So for instance, like a 300-point list in Infinity in3, which is the latest rule set, it's a 30-point list in Code 1. It has its own army builder where things are point costed different, skills are taken off of some of the models,
Sure.
things are a lot more streamlined. So it's an entirely kind of different ecosystem, and I think what it's intended to be is really two things. Well, it's intended to be one thing, and I think it's actually two things. So it's intended to be a way for people like you and I who are interested in a game like Infinity but always were intimidated by the kind of the bulk of the rules, to start with something very small, very easy, to get a hang of things, and then as we go along, to kind of expand our horizons and understand from the ground up, like you said, the scaffold element. And then by the time we've kind of played a lot of Code 1, we might decide, well, now it's time to jump into the greater Infinity universe, because all of these weird rules that we were dealing with kind of all at once in N3 are kind of scaffolded in. The second piece of this is that this is also a kind of a preview of the rules that are going to be utilized primarily in N4, which is the next version of Infinity. So it's kind of like a simple, streamlined version of what the eventual new rule set is going to be.
Yeah.
And so hopefully N4 makes it where you go from Code 1 to N4 and it's not a clunky, weird experience. It's all of the Code 1 rules plus more depth. Right, it's like maybe hacking gets a little more
Sure.
interesting, or face-to-face role a little more
I think is
interesting. Or
great,
whatever.
right? And it reminds me, like, when you're dealing with miniatures that you have to assemble, and terrain, and mats, and like all the stuff that you needed. Like, we bought a ton of Infinity terrain, right? And like the barriers between both just practically and rules-wise understanding that whole game
Yeah.
are a lot. You have to really want it, and I think it's
Like good war games often do, right? And that's that whole buy-in thing that we've talked about on the
Yep.
podcast too. It's like, well, by the time you get there though, it's so fulfilling. I mean, I was there for a little while, and it was like, I'm excited every time the prospect of playing a game of Infinity comes up.
Yeah.
So another thing I think Code 1 is going to do is provide veteran players, current players, a way to have just a lighter game, a shorter game, an easier game. I think of it almost like a sealed format versus a constructed format, right?
Yeah.
It's like you want to get some buddies together, maybe a couple of them are a little less serious than you are, and you've got all these models, and you can put them in the Code 1 world and just have some quicker games, some faster paced games. And so there might be a lot of people playing in those Code 1 tournaments, not because they're brand new, but because it's just a lighter experience,
Sure.
which can be really nice sometimes.
And it also is the kind of thing where it reminds me of on Skytear, you have like the 1, 2, and 3 lane map, where like part of it as well is like tournaments for a big miniature war game are tough. For a lot of reasons. One, for players, they take a long time.
Yeah.
The bigger, wider games. But then for organizers and stores like us, the space, the terrain, like we spent, I think back in the day, it was in the several hundreds of dollars to outfit a table.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
like most stores are not going to dedicate thousands of dollars to be able to host a 12-man tournament for a game.
It's true. So Code 1 is here, and we're going to be taking a look at it. So it's starting with Kaldstrom. This is Operation Kaldstrom, and I just want to show, I'm going to zoom you guys in here so you can see it appropriately. So check this out.
This is inside the rulebook, okay?
So this is the back page of the rulebook, and this is really important to kind of understand what's going on here. So you can see that Code 1 trims it down to 4 factions. I think there's like 9 or so in N3 right now, if I recall correctly. Unfortunately, Hawk Islam isn't here, so I'm a little bit bummed out. But 4 factions, and then you can see kind of the idea of the release schedule of Code 1 here. So we're starting with Kaldstrom Box, which is a mix of Yujing and Pan-Oceania. And then we're going to have a couple of action packs that introduce O12 and the Combined Army. And then we're going to have a little Beyond Kaldstrom that if you just bought this one, you can kind of pump this. So I think by this point, your Yujing and your Pano and your O12 and Combined Army will all kind of be on the same page in terms of number of models available and whatnot. Once we're caught up there, we'll have a Dire Foes pack that has Yujing and Pano, and then a Dire Foes pack that has O12 and Combined. So that's, again, more supplementary material. And then after that, you're just going to be looking at support packs, a remote, a tag, a booster pack.
Tags are the big things, right?
Not a random booster pack, but like something to boost the army if you want to pursue this army. So by the end of this, we'll have a bunch of dual boxes, where you can get like kind of your feet wet with these different factions. And then depending on what faction you want to play, then you kind of go down your tree here and get these products that are going to supplement. These aren't out yet. So this is kind of the release plan, the model. And then as my understanding is by the end of this, it's over. That's the code 1
Block.
block.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not they expand past that or whatnot probably depends on the success or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a nice little kind of, if you just want to take a little bit of a bite-sized Infinity experience, here it is.
And that's a pretty big bite.
It's a big bite.
But I mean, you look at it, like, look at this box, right? I think this is great. And you can't feel the weight of this, but this is a
It's serious.
box.
Yeah, it's
So
very serious.
I could see, like you walking through it, this looks great on the shelf, and it's like everything 2 people need to play, which I think is a huge difference, right?
Yep.
And it's just like, oh. And we'll open it, I assume.
Let's do it right now.
In a second. But one of my favorite things is how they handled the terrain here, which was, in the old day, in Infinity, the rule set needs a lot of terrain.
Yes, it really does.
So
you gotta have cover, you gotta be able to weave in between buildings.
That solution, you want to hit us over?
Yeah, so let's check out what we got here. So the models aren't pre-assembled. We may have made that a little bit confusing. We were sent pre-assembled and prime models from Arsenal, so huge hats off.
I was very careful in using the word assembled and not pre-assembled.
Good. So these look phenomenal. The models are as great as you'd expect. I think it's hard to argue that Corvus Belli is at the tip top of the game when it comes to minis. And they do it in-house. They do it in their own factory. It's like they do the old school spinning method, I think, where they spin the metal. So it's like they're just so good at this that if you just want to paint beautiful models, particularly sci-fi models, just start buying.
Yeah.
Because it's incredible.
I think the fidelity on the models, and like also there's something about the way they do their models that they know how to make something pop without it being like over the, sometimes you see a model and it's like, that's ridiculously good looking. But these models, it's like there's a subtlety to it. You know what I mean?
There really is a confidence.
Yeah,
to it, really.
there's almost a mastery here, and it
So
makes sense. They've been doing this forever. Look at this, 60/20s. That's worth
so
the price of entry in the first place.
We've got all the bases, and then we've got all of the models, and they are in their little metal blisters. So you would have to, file them down, put them together. So for a hobby miniature player, if you've been in this space before, that's not a huge deal. If you're thinking about trying Infinity out of nowhere, this is one of the things we've talked about many times. It's difficult to get somebody who doesn't understand the hobby miniature thing to just like jump right in here and understand what they're supposed to do with this. There's some tips in the rule book and whatnot, which is helpful. But like any hobby miniature gamer knows, any war gamer knows, this is the toughest part of the process. But I will say this, if you get into it, it's great. It's absolutely great. Zach got me on painting here recently, and it's really nice.
The assembly of it is my least favorite part. I like painting, but the assembly is like, my lord, gluing your thumbs together, right? Your thumb and your index finger, skin peeling. But it is, again, it's a hobby, and I think for miniatures games, that's just a core component of it, and you just kind of learn to deal with it.
Alex asked him, what's the price point on the box? I believe it's around $100, if I remember that correctly. And then Blake, can it be self-contained in the main box, or does it require more expansions to have depth? I think that if you bought this box and only played this, it would be phenomenal.
It looks like there's like 8 models per side.
We've got 7 models per side in very incredible configurations, all sorts of really cool models. And this rulebook walks us through like 4 or 5 different missions we can play with this combination of models, not even considering what you can do on your own, and consider like, well, I'll make my own scenario, or I'll look online and find one, or I'll just do a face-to-face against my enemy. So I would say that if you just wanted to treat this as like a single purchase and play
contained
Infinity,
experience,
100%, you could do that. 100%.
I like this a lot. Let me find it. Where did it go?
All right, we got a game map.
Mark says, putting together minis and even painting can be fun to do with a friend because you can chat about the game and what's cool about it. That's my favorite part of painting. When our store is open, we have a monthly paint day, and hanging out and painting is definitely my favorite. So this is such a tremendous boon. You have no idea. You do. You might not if you've never dealt with this. Also, David Vedro asking a really great question. That would be a great podcast. He's basically saying you've seen different approaches to onboarding people into miniatures, from Legion and Code 1 to Crisis Protocol and Warhammer. Can we get a blog or podcast about the pros and cons of these approaches? Might be a podcast topic.
So this is the mat. Check this baby out. This is insane. So it's like a 2x3, I think is what it's supposed to be.
Wasn't it? So it was in not inches, whatever that system's called. Metric system.
Oh, logical system?
Yes. Hey, I'm all about it. I've been saying switch for years. I'll deal with 2.5 kilometer mile blocks or whatever it is. Anyways, I lost my train. Oh, it was in the measurements in inches are funny. It's like 24 by 34 or something like that, because they were coming from the metric system.
Yes, that happens. Things get weird because of us. So this is, I kind of want to, maybe we'll just put the terrain on our Arena Rex mat rather than, because this is like flopping around. This is too big for our cameras. Look at that.
You can just do this, right?
Yeah, I like that. Okay, we can
And
play
like
on
we
that.
can center it.
Yeah. Okay.
And like, cause we'll start in weird spots and stuff. Remember, I feel like it was wild where you deploy. It's not like Christ Protocol where it's like, we're just all on one side.
It's true.
Look at this. We're about to have craft time.
It's about to be craft time. So check this out. So you get your full on. Here's how to put all your terrain together. So we're gonna explore that here in just a second.
But this is worth it. So this is cardboard pre-printed.
Let's dump this for a second too.
Beautiful looking terrain.
I can't believe you can do this.
And the reality, again, this is the thing. I mean, it used to be
Look at all this.
hundreds of dollars an assembly, and it wasn't even painted. And look at this. Got the template in there too, the spray template.
So we've got terrain pieces here. We got another terrain piece. We've got another terrain piece. We've got tokens and templates.
They have a really cool if you miss with your AoE thing. Remember that?
Yeah, they'll scatter. Yeah. More terrain and more terrain. So basically you got 2 sheets of your order tokens and templates and all of that stuff that you need, even including a measuring device, which is very nice. I did grab a tape measure in case we needed it.
I like that.
All the tokens that we need here, and then terrain, as well as we got a science and tech lab, Mines Corp regional offices, St. Lazarus Infirmary, Emergency Operations Center, Air Traffic Control Module, 2 public consoles with different designs, 4 holodes with 2 different designs, and 8 blast barriers, each with 5 different designs. All right, let's dive in. You want to start putting some stuff together?
Yeah, Ben says, what would you say the box to table time is? We're about to find out, besides the assembly of the models.
We're literally going to run that right now.
Yeah, Curtis says, warning, building the terrain will take a while. So maybe we'll talk about release models and whatnot. But all right, so I'm just going to hand you one. This looks like the Emergency Operations Center.
Yeah, I'm going to start. Now, it's important to know. Now, here's something that you might screw up. There's these little numbers, little codes, and this is anybody else who ends up doing this at home as well.
Those matter?
Those matter, right? So we're going to have we have a little guide here.
Yeah, I'll put that up here so we can both see it.
Yeah.
All right,
And we'll just be answering questions as we go here.
St. Lazarus Infirmary. Where was that at?
You know what we should do, dude? Let's just put anything that matches the correct thing up there. You like that? Is it like building some IKEA furniture?
Oh, man. You learn a lot about your spouse when you do that.
We're kind of like lightly married here.
It's a work marriage.
That's right.
And they're always like, that's my work husband.
That's right. What are you looking for?
The infirmary.
The buildings are double-sided, so it can be built in different ways.
Yeah, I noticed that. So here's the infirmary, but then this is the data center. So we're going to make choices, too.
We're going to make a ton of choices.
This is EM2A1. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, that's the same. That's the same building.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wait. Are there only 2 buildings here?
I think so, and then we can like modulate them however we want, in whatever crazy way.
Yeah, because look, you got the downstairs and the upstairs, but this matches these 2.
Oh, nice.
So there's only 2. So I assume we'll build.
Let's build a couple. Can you be
everything.
on? Okay, I want to be on this one. No, this one's on your side.
EM2A1.
So I'm going to give you this stuff.
Here's EM. It's over here. See?
Boom.
This
And
is
here's
the
EP.
EMs. Let me keep finding.
EP.
All right, here's another EP.
EP.
Here's an EM. I'm just going to hand you the EMs.
There we go.
And these are little codes printed on here. BP, I assume this is all the little, these are all the little standy things here.
Little blast stands, yeah.
EM.
EM, that's me.
Oh, I see some EPs here too, so just watch out.
Okay.
All right.
Let's take some EM time. Let's just see what we can get into here. So we've got.
This is the ceiling.
We've got these things. We got little punch out sections here. So that's obviously going to be probably where my stairs go. Did you get into Legos as a kid?
Michael says, so you break down, I didn't. You break down the terrain and build it every game? No, you probably build it once and then you just use that terrain. But you have options in basically how you want to build it when you're building it. You could technically take them apart.
That's correct.
That is a viable option. Okay, I see. I see. I'm there.
Yeah.
This isn't awful.
This is not awful.
There's no glue, so we're already winning.
Yeah, dude, that's the key. You can't have glue like that.
Yeah, there are 4 buildings, 2 large, 2 small.
Okay. There's these guys. Don't you wish the numbers were printed on the...
You do, but you don't.
I do. Yeah, you're right. It's like, is it about the play experience or is it about the construction experience?
Definitely play experience, because you're going to build it once. and you're hopefully going to play it a lot more than that.
I also feel like I'm about to just get into this, and we're going to see what pops out.
I'm telling you, you literally learn so much about a human when you're building stuff. There are different approaches. Like, see, I tried to use those instructions, but I'm over them.
You've already gone, yeah. It's already out the door. We'll see. You remember that old Nickelodeon show where you could either fold the clothes or stuff them in a suitcase? Does that ring a bell for you?
It's kind of similar.
I know Jonathan's at home listening right now, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't. I do remember Salute Your Shorts, though.
Oh, nice. Did you ever do that? What was that weird with all the redheaded kids? There's like 3 of them. Triplets, maybe? Twins? Does that ring a bell?
Not really.
Wow. I guess I'll just go over here by myself.
Do I even know you?
All right, there's EM1A2, EM2A4. Heaven help us, where does that one go? I think, are they giving us like instructions for one and then basically saying like figure it out on the other ones?
There's literally just 2 different building structures, and then you choose what you want on the outside. So like I have this thing. This is the completed version of mine.
Mm-hmm.
That's yours. These can go on top of that or independent.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Powers209 asking, do you have a list of the games you plan to stream? It's a great way to learn games I never got into like this. I'd love to see some Warcraft and Spoils. Man, we've been wanting to play some Spoils on the stream. We put it up every week on our social, on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and everywhere we can think to put it up.
The world.
So if you just follow us there, you'll find it. Oh, man, this is making so much sense now, actually.
Yep.
Okay. I'm having a breakthrough. So then we've got EM2A4 and EM1A4, 2A4, 1A4. Okay. Zach.
You figured it out?
Yeah, dude, I'm crushing it now. EM1A7. Okay, so here's all my stairs. Oh my gosh. It's perfect.
Drayton says, I strongly recommend starting with the outside stair part and building around the roof. I built several of these for my table.
Drayton, awesome. Hey, good to see you, Drayton. It's been a long time since we've seen you. I'm glad you're hanging out today. So the outside stairs first, you said? EM2, A4, A7, A6. So this is on top. Perfect. And then EM2, A6. Also H2. I put H2 over here in my H pile. Have you constructed anything yet?
Oh, yeah.
Have
Look at
not.
that. See?
I have
Look,
not.
I got standing walls. What do you got?
A lot of plans.
There's the old tortoise and the hare scenario here.
Yeah. I'm excited about.
I'm the hare, side note.
Okay, got that one. Now I need an EM1A1.
I'm building an emergency operations center.
EM2A1. Okay, done. So I've got my walls. And then an EM1A3. Where's that? You got an EM1A3 over there for me? There's my A5. So this is my outside staircase. So this was Drayton's suggestion, right? Make sure that I build the outer stairs first. Good.
EP1A7.
Good. Here's my stairs. Boom. My last stair. Done it. Whose method do you guys think is going to work here better? We got a space race on our hands. Where's my EM1A3? Do you have that for me?
Well, you're going to win if you keep asking me questions.
Did you steal my EM? No, here it is. Okay, EM1A3 and EM1A3. 2A3. 2B3, rather.
Now we're cooking.
Okay, so if you guys, here, let me see if I can, you guys can kind of, yeah, you can see what I've done here. So I'm going to tell you the method that I'm using, because there's probably going to be some people watching this that are going to be doing the same thing. So what I did here is I'm just laying everything out in its appropriate spot, right? So I've got my staircase, I'm looking at my diagram, I've got my stairs, I've got my outer wall, I've got my top, I got my side, and then my other side. And there's 1A2 and 2A2 versions of kind of all of these. So now I'm going to start putting them together. And Drayton gave us the hot tip to do the stairs first, so I'm going to do that. Blake, that's a good question. So I said the only miniatures game I've kind of played is Imperial Assault. Is this a tactical skirmish game?
This?
Like
this here?
This here, Bixby?
This here? This here, Bixby?
So Infinity is going to be like Imperial Assault skirmish times 10. Not necessarily in terms of complexity, but in terms of like depth and decision making and list construction and all of that. It is a deep game, and there's a lot of universe to enjoy here. I'll show you an example once we get a building up of essentially what it really means to get involved in Infinity, because the lore in this game is so incredible it makes me hurt. I think there's a role-playing piece as well. I know I saw that. I think Modifius or somebody had done one of those. This universe itself is just out of control good.
Do you see any more of these?
No. See, now you're distracting me. What about that one?
No.
That one.
No, it's got the angle.
Oh, well.
Because like they both have blue
Sorry,
on
too
the
busy
outside.
racing you, buddy.
That
What do you want?
can't
You want to do
work.
Pano? I'm going to do Pano on the outside because I feel like that's correct.
Well, wait.
I'm going to be playing Pano, so it's going to be great. And they give us different colors, too.
Like, I think this is how it has to go.
We'll have an accurate timer, actually, of like
How long this takes?
how long it takes to go from box to table.
Yeah.
Only if you got two smart dudes, though.
Well, 1.5.
Ha!
Won't say which one's which.
Now, I'm just going to, I don't really know how this is. I'm going to put some on the side and some not, etc.
Look at me. I got a staircase.
You did it already. Dang.
Dang.
That's all right. I always pull ahead at the end here whenever my method has been proven.
Oh, I see. I see.
Popping out these little cardboards, too. I could use like an X-Acto knife. Let's face it, guys. Hobby miniatures is really just arts and crafts. Always has been.
I don't disagree.
It's just get your tool. It uses a tape measure, for goodness sakes. I mean, at that point, it's...
And glue and glitter.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Okay. Nailed it. Nailed it. Oh, that's satisfying when that staircase comes together. Beautiful. Did we do this right? Yeah, I've got the hook. Yeah. Yeah. Nailed it. Okay.
It's like a miniature Rubik's Cube.
Now, science and technology is going to go here. Boom, boom. Wait, maybe I should do... No. All right, let's see if this works. Okay. Done.
To be fair, you do have the bigger building.
Oh, good. Well, I appreciate that.
Fair to you.
Consolation there. And then, is there a bottom? Do you know if there's like a bottom to
I don't think
yours?
there is.
No bottom? Okay, and then we've got these. Research Commission, that seems good. This has been a revolution to have terrain like this. Can you imagine? It's so necessary. Data center, let's do this. STEM lab. Oh, yeah. You know, this actually comes together pretty well.
Yeah, it's impressive. Nope.
See? Oh, yeah. This is the moment
The critical piece.
where it all happens. Boom.
Feeling good?
Feeling good. Now, did I make a mistake here? Oh no. Drayton, why didn't you warn me? Oh no. I gotta put this in first.
Yeah, I had a few of those moments where it's like, this is not quite right.
Okay, so I gotta punch these guys out. So basically I need to put your ceiling in before you finish your bottom floor up. Not traditional construction, of course, but
Old builder's secret.
it'll do. Isn't this, sometimes we're on these streams like this, and it's just like the breadth of experience that you have with all these games is pretty cool.
Yeah, when you really get into all the various tabletop.
Like, yeah, I would say this is an experience that I didn't think I'd be having on stream 13 weeks ago when we started, but here we are.
Yet here we are.
Okay, poke, poke, poke. Good. I feel good about this coming together. Did you do it?
I think so. Who's to say, really?
Get those barricades going. That's really what the game's about.
Oh, I see where it's like, why was this not quite fitting? Just gotta give it a little.
Oh, hey, how are you?
Wow, there it is.
It's just cardboard, right?
Uh-huh.
Why is James crying?
James got dunked on. Yeah, that
Okay.
seems fine. I could stand on it.
These guys need to roll down just a little bit more. Okay, done.
Z-Bot saying, what are these things made of? Foam core or cardboard? This is cardboard.
Too young.
Building one. Now there's a second one. I'm just gonna go ahead and build the second one while I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, you should.
I'm missing.
There it is.
There they are. EP2.
I find that I actually am not very patient.
Did you take my stairs?
Nope.
Oh,
Guarantee you I
there's,
did
there's
not.
like a bunch of cardboard over here.
Those are different. I may have made the mistake that Drayton was warning me about. Like,
Nailed it.
literally. But I'm not stopping. Okay, good.
I like the color palette of this universe.
It's nice, isn't it? Always has been.
Yep.
Okay. Let's rethink this. Let's rethink it.
It's like a three-dimensional puzzle.
Man, it is. And I'm so impatient sometimes. It's devastating.
You are a mixture of both patience and impatience.
Yep. I'm a human being.
Said you learn a lot about your spouses when you, you build things. You learn what they're willing to be patient about.
Yeah.
Tell you what, my wife is not willing to be patient about me not wanting to read the rule book.
She wants the rules, huh?
Wants the rules,
Can't blame it.
and I just want to be done. I get that the rules might be helpful. We can figure this out. Hold my beer.
Okay, here we go. Progress.
Progress is promised.
I do feel like this is kind of like a IKEA style project, you know?
Oh yeah, I definitely agree.
Honestly, you need to be really careful with this stuff if you want it to not
Bend.
fail. Mine is definitely failing because I'm just forcing things to happen here that really
Shouldn't. Yeah, I had a few of those moments.
but maybe it'll get there.
It ends up looking like it's good. I think the order in which you choose to...
Man, yeah, I feel like I want the order. I want to know the order. I wasn't given that order.
Just good luck.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Carlos. Just kidding.
Can you imagine trying to print instructions like that would actually work for this?
Imagine trying to design these things. What I would do that would be funny is
There it is.
design it and be like, let's just give them something that doesn't technically work.
Okay. 1. Done. Done. Well, guys, I got to tell you, if you're ever in a situation where you're saying to yourself, I don't think this is going to work, it does. You just got to force it a little bit. And if you had glue, you could maybe just cheat.
You could definitely cheat.
Because I'm still, I mean, this is still like a, I've got a miserable stair here that is just not going to get in there. Look, we'll just break it. It'll be like a sci-fi thing, right?
Hey, that works.
Like, something happened. Boom. Nicely done, man.
We got stairs to the top.
Boom. Have we done it?
Well, you got one more of those to build.
I'm not building another one.
What?
Nah, we don't need that.
You gotta build it.
We don't need
We
that.
need to. Remember when we played this game back in the day?
But we've got all these barricades.
You want me to build the big one
Yeah,
while you build
build
the...
Build the big one. Build the big one.
Oh, it's getting hot in here.
Yeah, it is.
Let me see if I can get the Sub-Zero back in the room.
All right, so then we got what? H1, H2, H1, H2. So these should be pretty obvious. If you can't do these, then well, you just need to get out of town. Okay. HP1. What's our how much time till table you think? Have we gotten there yet?
No, but we're close. Oh, I see what you did here on the back end. It works.
Don't show that.
Are
one
these
too
all the
closely.
pieces I need?
I hope so.
Well, you were the
That's
architect.
the only ones I've got.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah. Yeah, that should be it. And you need some stairs. You need these guys.
yeah.
Okay, there you go. There's your stairs. Now be sure to do it right, okay?
And then we'll never be able to tell who built which.
Oh man.
Honestly, this is 20% of the fun of the hobby.
If I was still a child, I'm close, but a little too old at this point, I would absolutely be losing my mind with how much I would love this.
Were you into Legos as a kid?
Oh my gosh.
I didn't have
Legos,
Legos.
blocks, just like build things constantly.
All I had was my like action figures,
Mm-hmm.
Power Rangers and wrestlers. All right, let's examine this.
Chris, everybody's on YouTube for the chat. YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Everything's streaming at both places. Facebook's usually the least, because you know most people scrolling through Facebook aren't just like, oh, I'd like to settle in for a good 6-hour infinity stream right now.
Yeah.
But if you go to YouTube, that's where most people are, and it's a lot better quality too. All the Facebook crews like, what's going on?
Who's talking?
Who are you guys
Twitch
talking
people do the
to?
same thing. It's like we're all the. It'd be funny if we're just making up the comments to
Yeah,
act like
just-
people are watching.
Yeah, just so we can become influencers so much faster.
Oh yeah, get those influencer checks. That's what I've been dreaming of. I mean, you remember when we first started? I was like, dude, someday we'll get to be influencers.
That's right.
And you were like, that sounds like a good plan.
We'll monetize our videos and we'll go to Easy Street. We'll
I
buy
hate-
some yachts.
I hate ads.
Yeah, it's over. I don't know that we ever recover from the fact that we'll just never do it. It's
Yeah.
ads, man.
That's how we know we'll never be influencers.
Advertising is the worst experience of anything. Okay.
I mean, that's probably a mildly extreme.
Who's like, oh man, well the Super Bowl I guess kind of proves that point. I'll save my diatribe for something that actually is accurate.
Yeah. You'll actually find a hill worth dying on.
I'll die on a hill worth dying on. That's basically my entire life's purpose is that.
To find that hill?
Find that hill and then die on it. Yeah, that's right. Okay, we make sure, see, I'm on quality control here, making sure we've punched everything.
Appreciate that.
Yep. I'm doing the hard work. You're over there goofing off.
That's fair.
Okay, now we've got stands. We've got stands in different area codes here.
Blake, I'd definitely say you guys have, in quotes, influenced me. Jen Chaos says, all right, what am I buying now?
Well, if you like putting cardboard buildings together, let me tell you, we got something
the game
here.
for you.
We got something.
Honestly, though, the fact that they included the cardboard buildings, like back in the day, we paid good money for these cardboard buildings.
I was playing on toilet paper rolls back then. Didn't know how good I would soon have it. Now, there's probably a method to, yep. Okay, so you match the patterns to the barricade bases. Okay.
Makes sense to me.
That does make sense, okay? Now, you also have to keep in mind, Infinity is like an urban warfare sci-fi game. So you really just need a density of like buildings to run through and stand on top of and sniper posts and all of that, you know?
Which is why I was unwilling to not build this second building.
Yeah, I appreciate that now. Mm-hmm. You really put the time in. Making sure that
our experience is
we're going to have a great experience
good.
Together.
Yeah. Someone's got to be the one to do it.
Yeah, it's not usually you, so I'm happy that we've switched places on that one.
Got him.
Ah, man, it's so funny. Those of you guys that are playing Infinity, how long have you guys been playing? I'm sure you've seen the game evolve pretty significantly over time.
And how do you feel about Code 1, which we're about to play?
Yeah. What role is it going to play in the Ultimate Infinity product mix? It's the real question here. Which I imagine Corvus Belli has an answer to that.
You'd hope so.
Unless I'm sorely mistaken in their business philosophy.
We'll just figure it out when we get there.
You know? Is this... Oh my gosh, I think these go here.
I also really wanted to check out Aristeia. You guys played it. It was kind of like the Infinity Imperial Assault there, right?
Yes. Yeah, kind of. It's like a sportsy kind of game.
Oh, yeah.
Defiance is the adventure one that's coming up.
That's the one.
That's a fascinating little game. Okay.
Come on now. There it is.
Yeah, it's satisfying when it happens, right? Okay, good. That's good.
Look at that.
Boom.
Built a helipad.
And then are we supposed to also have like a... Oh, there they are. The little triangles. Okay. That makes perfect sense.
Powers. So this, I think this box was 100 and it comes with 2 armies and all this terrain we're building. Wow, you're doing good over here.
Yeah, where's the... I'm missing a triangle. Did you pop a triangle and you didn't tell me? Dude.
Story of my life.
You're totally sabotaging me right now.
Don't mind me, just built 3 buildings for us. Sabotage is the name of my game. You got 2 triangles? What are you looking for?
Not red ones. I think these guys go like this. I could be wrong about this. Like they do, you got a little ramp on them. There you go.
Oh, I see. Look.
Oh, there it is. Didn't believe me. And yet here we are.
Here we are. What are these things for? Do you remember these?
What are those?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm just going to punch it all out, though, because we'll
54.
probably need it.
Okay, so then we got a little
These are going to
hut.
be win conditions. I'll put money on that.
Yeah, probably.
Prone tokens. You remember we did those limited edition metal Infinity tokens way back?
Yes, I do.
I still have mine somewhere. I remember seeing them when I was packing up stuff in my brother's attic. Gosh, what was the name of my faction?
Had Ajax and whatnot?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. What are you guys saying? Been playing since 2015, says Curtis.
Nice.
Code 1 is good. I like it as a preview for N4, and so N4 is essentially the 4th iteration of the rules.
Which is not out yet.
Which is not out yet. No, as far as I know. Okay.
Still Aleph, that was the faction.
Oh, right. Man, you had a weird faction.
All I needed here was Achilles.
Yeah, Achilles, Ajax, etc.
It's like, all right, let's roll. You mean we're getting, yeah.
Let's see. Zbot says, I've been playing since 2nd edition. Boy, Green Iguana, what we've learned from watching TC building, Zach doesn't like reading instructions, and Steven wants to get straight to the game after building one building. That is correct.
Yep.
Pola's been playing for 3 years.
You can see why we historically weren't into miniatures games.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have 200-page rule books, which keep me out. And then you have to build stuff for 12 days, so that keeps Steven out.
That's right.
And then we go back to playing our card games.
It all makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Polit's saying there's some good cleanup in Code 1, but I'm more interested in 4, which is nice.
Makes sense.
Zbot saying Code 1 seems like the right direction. The game suffers horribly from rules bloat. I definitely remember that in my limited time with the rules. That is for sure. And then Power's asking how cheap or pricey are the armies / teams. I think they're relatively quite cheap. 8 to 12 per US model, USD.
Which is,
per model.
compared to like Warhammer or even Crisis Protocol. Crisis Protocol is like $15 a model, $20 a model. Depends on the model. Some of the bigger ones are a little more expensive, so it's pretty good. And they're metal, which is harder to assemble. But
You can do more with it though.
They are also, yeah, obviously.
You can customize it and.
Yeah, I mean you can customize plastic as well.
Ugh, it feels weird
But
though.
metal has a heft to it that's nice.
It does feel nice. Just feeling these Infinity models again. It's just like, man, this is a nice, just solid model. All right, have we done it? Hit the clock. Where are we? 2:06. That took us about 45 minutes.
At max.
At max.
The whole, because we didn't start streaming until 20 after.
30 minutes. That took us maybe 30 minutes to assemble
2 people.
everything.
So if you're flying
here.
solo, it's an hour. Like
Boom.
if you weren't hanging out and
Yeah,
chatting
easy.
and stuff.
And then if you're gifted at things like this, it'll probably take you 30 minutes or so.
Politz says you could have a full competitive army in 3, which is the current edition, for $100 to $200.
Nice.
Which is good. I think that's about what it needs to be.
Jim Souter saying, I think Code 1 is to Infinity as to what Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion is to the main Gloomhaven. Now, I'm not qualified to understand what any of that means, but I do know that Gloomhaven was the giant game, and now there's maybe a less giant version. As Jim says, helps you dip your toes without feeling as daunted. So that's good. Did I do that wrong?
No, I just it's like it's missing a step.
Yeah, dude.
And then I saw this.
Yeah,
It's like you just clipped. Where'd that go?
It's gone. It's gone. I think it's right here. It fell off.
That's so good. And look at this.
Forced a little too far. Look at him. I mean, come on. You can climb up that.
No, it works. I just was not like I was actually examining what was going on here.
Yeah, it just had to happen at that point.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, they should earn a lock at the top. I agree with that. But then again, here we go. Well, that's fine. All right, so we've done it all. Now,
You want to bring me my city map?
I'll bring you the city map. We need to clear the terrain. and
Build
then
me
we'll
a city.
Get into the rules here.
I got all the Now I will say there's a whole bunch of like cardboard residue here.
shavings.
So if you're doing this at home, I'd recommend doing it on a surface that you're prepared to just throw away.
Or, like just vacuum.
Nah.
I
I
just
don't
throw it away.
even own a vacuum. I buy a new dining table every month.
Just dump it out. Okay, and so you want to bring this map up here?
Yeah, I think so.
We can maybe fold it.
Yeah.
Ooh, folding a map. Now we get into some real stuff here.
I think you just need one of those
Okay,
if you want. Or they can just be off camera and we won't play on it.
boom.
That's perfect.
All right, here we go.
Is there a picture of where these buildings should go?
No, let's just freestyle it. No, that's not necessarily an answer to your question, but
And then let's put one on top over here.
you're putting a building on building?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
you can do that.
All right, let's put some stuff over here. You want that there and over there. Get some things in the middle here.
Just clog. You gotta be able to walk through it, but you want to close some lanes. Because if you can see it, you can shoot it in this
You can
game.
see it, you can shoot it. All right? Boom, boom. Do not expose yourself.
Age of Adam says, wait, don't they need to still build the minis? Luckily,
we got them pre-built.
our friends over at Corvus. Let's put one of these over here and one of these here, so it's not both the big ones. Friends at Corvus Belli sent us assembled models.
Okay, done.
Oh, a scenario book gives you layouts.
Okay, we'll hold to them, or we'll just use them when we've got. You know?
I do know.
You feel that way? Okay, look at that. Okay, now we got some infinity going here. Friends, we need to crank up the brightness at all. You see that?
From here it looks a little dark, but I don't know.
Okay, let's take a look at the book. So this will probably be a little bit out of focus potentially, but here's the thing about this book. Tons of flavor. It's tons of flavor. And you know my favorite thing about it? Aside from like all of the flavor, every little troop has their own kind of explanation. Look at this. This is showing the different paint schemes and why they're used in the way that they're used, right? The original color pattern of the Knights of Justice, fielded on Svalarheima under the auspices of the Order of the Hospital. Here, armor and their garments display colors adapted to the icy environment of the snowy planet. But then we got the Icabus pattern here. The Knights of Justice do not lag behind when they support the deep space boarding actions of the Knights of Santiago. In these operations, the black color of their tunics allows them to blend into both the blackness of the interstellar void and the shadows of the narrow corridors of enemy spaceships. There's no reason. This doesn't, it's just awesome.
Did you say they're from San Diego?
It's just awesome. The boys from San Diego.
San Diego.
Yeah, that's really great.
So where did we get to the rules?
Biennale. So we're 15 pages in, and it's all flavor.
Also,
I mean, how cool is that?
I just had a wild idea.
Yeah, follow your heart here.
What if we did this?
Sounds good. I like that. Can you give me a little more?
We can go this way.
There you go. Nice. All right, so then you see mission 1. We get to mission 1 here. I'm just going to give you a little top down. You guys can experience this with us fully. Mission 1. And it's basically going to tell us to set some stuff up and give us the rules as we go rather than all at once necessarily.
That's smart.
Right? Okay, so here we go. Sweep the snowmobile hangar.
Okay.
That's what we're doing. The only reason why Corporal Karin Lindstrom and 2 other Fusiliers were now patrolling a snowmobile hangar located in a colony far away from the conflict area was the power and influence that Mines Corp, one of the greatest corporations of the sphere, had in Pano. Their commanding officer had informed them that the scientific team had integrated the prototype of a new technology into one of those snowmobiles to perform field tests in the area. The regional government had been persuaded that this technology had an important strategic value, which would allow Pan-Oceania to take the lead in the field of Nessium prospecting. Karen didn't feel convinced at all. It was certainly just corporate propaganda to gain services for free. Her opinion changed the moment she saw a Zanshi fire team running between the snowmobiles. Maybe Mines Corp was right about the prototype.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. Introduction. The mission introduces a very simplified version of Infinity Code 1's core mechanics. Here's what we'll need. A measuring tape, or our handy-dandy cardboard measuring devices. 3 20-sided dice per player. Those are included. I'm going to give you the orange, of course, because I'm going to take the blue.
Yep.
Then we've got 3 infinity miniatures per player. So you're going to be Eugene. So we're going to stick to the scheme here. You get your orange models there, and I get
Nice.
my blue models. And this is just, they're all the same. They're all the same type of model. And it's basically the Fusiliers on the Pano side versus the Zanshi on your side. And these are very similar troops. They have the same weapon. Everything's pretty easy to understand, so we can run through this pretty quickly. We need our model terrain, which we've got, and the gaming table. Great. So then it tells us this is a scalable game, can be played in different formats and sizes of game surface. Whatever you want to do is up to you, but you can play on the game mat to get a little action there. So let's pull up a unit profile. Fusilier is what we're looking for, like essentially their stat line is what this looks like. Let me see. It looks like Jonathan's got it. Nailed it. So Zach, I'm just going to teach you like I would teach you normally. You've seen these stats before.
Oh, it's been a minute.
On the left is movement.
Okay.
So every order you're going to get 2 things you can do. If you do move twice, you do the first one and then also the second one. Right?
Yeah.
So that's like your sprint. Close combat skill is like, swords and knives and stuff. Ballistic skill is your shooty skill. Physical is, physical. Not willpower.
Whip.
Whip, it may be willpower. Here it is, willpower, yeah. 12, so that's like, I'm freaking out. How good am I at not freaking out anymore? Armor, you know, if you get shot, how good are you at not dying? BTS is like your biotech shield, which is against like virus weapons, which I loved back in the day because they were busted. Wounds, so you can take one hit on this Fusilier and then they go down. And then silhouette of 2, which is basically how you determine cover if you need to like imagine a little box around the model. And then this Fusilier has a simple loadout, a combi rifle or a combi rifle. It's a combination rifle and perhaps something else. I don't know why it's called that. I never have.
Maybe it's 2 rifles.
It could be. Wow. And so you'll notice your Zanshi, if we pull up your Zanshi on the stat line as well. So we look at the Zanshis here. We're the same across basically everything, but here's the difference. You're better at close combat. You got a +2 over me on close combat. And then I'm a little bit better at shooting. I'm +1 over you on shooting. And then you're a little bit better on willpower. That's the only difference in our models. So you're a little bit better close. I'm a little bit better farther away.
Okay.
That's all we got to worry about. So then they tell us about distance and measurement. They tell us about line of fire. We'll get to that stuff when we get there.
Do we have stat cards or anything, or is that just all in the
it's
air?
It's all in the book, man. Then we have an explanation of normal rolls and face-to-face rolls, which we can get into when we get into the game here. Criticals, I know that criticals have changed a little bit, so we'll do that. And then we'll start talking about the orders. So let's get our order tokens. We got order tokens?
Yeah.
Little arrows, yeah. And we've got our suggested terrain set up, and I'm gonna work that out right here.
We just need 3 order tokens?
Yeah, 3 order tokens. So this is cool. So we've got a little diagram. I'll try to show you guys this. It tells us how to set up the terrain, and it gives us kind of the cheat sheet of all the things we need to know. So these are our little stat cards, how we should do the terrain, and where we actually start our models out. So we're going to do that. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's both double stacks.
Can you set this up?
Yeah.
Both double stacks in the middle. 3 barricades.
So wait, it's probably more like I'm orange, right?
You're orange.
So there's this. You with me?
6 barricades on each side. Yeah.
So this will go like this. I'll take that.
Yeah.
And this will go.
You're pretty handy, you know? A handy dude.
Well,
pretty cool.
Just because I don't like instructions don't mean I can't read them. That's probably.
All right, so it's short, and long barricades. Okay, I didn't know there was a difference. Short and long.
A long barricade. Do you have a long barricade somewhere?
Use that guy.
And then I need.
How many shorts?
4 shorts.
2 shorts? Technically 2, yeah. And then I need 2 on this side. 2 shorts. A long.
What's a hoarding?
What's a hoarding? That's a weird question.
Is this a hoarding?
It looks like a hoarding.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh, technically, yeah, because we got a condensed map.
Yeah. Just put it wherever you want.
Yeah.
I'll put mine over here. Okay. Then we've got a green is a short. We've got a long short. Back, belly, back, belly, back. And then we've got a.
What's this considered?
I think it's a long. By long, I mean like tall, basically. Okay, I'm satisfied with that.
We'll deal.
You good with that?
Yep.
Okay, then we have a little diagram for where to start our figures. So I've got one starting here behind this barricade, one starting here behind this barricade, and one starting here behind this thing. And then
we did it.
Can we see? Let me see if I can see my. Okay, so we're just on the outskirts here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, you guys can see everything?
And we can also, I think we can slide it this way a little bit.
Boom. Great. Okay, here we go. Nice. And so we'll be in the picture-in-picture up in your like top section here for a little while, so just move that one first, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah.
All right, so then we've got our stuff set up. We've got all of our barricades set up. I think we're ready to do this. Are you ready? So let's talk about the basics of Infinity. The initiative roll, we do it based on the willpower attribute of the troopers. And both players roll a d20, check the result, and the player who gets the highest result, not exceeding their willpower. So this is the weird thing about Infinity. Is that a 1 or a 20?
That's a 1.
Ooh, nice. So you got to roll under your stat, but the highest number under your stat is the winner.
It's like Price is Right. Closest without going over.
Exactly.
It really is.
It really is, yes. So I got a 2 to your 1,
Yep.
so I win initiative.
But wait, what's your willpower?
It doesn't matter.
It's the closest to your willpower.
My willpower is 11 or 10, and yours is 11. We're both under our willpower, so they're both successes. But the degree to which we succeed is based on that number compared after the fact. That's the weirdest way to say that.
So we both succeed. I thought you were saying whichever one of us got closer to our willpower.
No, whoever has the highest number that is still under their willpower is the winner.
Nice. So like if willpower is 11,
yeah,
then the best result is a 10.
Technically, the best result's an 11 because that's a critical.
Oh, that counts.
It does count.
Okay, so the best is 11.
Best normal result is a 10. Yeah.
12 through 20 would be a failure.
Failure.
And then every number under 11 is like subsequently less good.
Yeah, and so it makes sense, right? Like you basically, the higher that number is, the greater your chance of success. So you're more consistently going to succeed, whereas if it was like a 5, it's very hard to succeed rolling under a 5, but you could still succeed at it. And then if you roll a 4 and I roll an 18 and my stat is 20, my 18 is way higher than your 4.
Yeah, I got it.
All right. So the main function of Infinity is the orders. So at the beginning of the thing, we count up how many orders are going to be generated, generally based on how many models we have.
Yep.
And so I've got 3 models. That's going to generate 3 orders. My favorite thing about Infinity is you can spin those orders however you want.
Yeah, you can like literally one guy. I remember with Achilles, I would just like
you can just Rambo
roll.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's 100%. So you've got your normal orders, and then when you spend an order, you basically get 2 what's called short skills. And from the book and from the Code 1 rules, our options are move and shoot, move and stab, move and dodge, and move and move.
And a dodge is, what's a dodge?
A dodge is basically if you're going to take some incoming fire, you're probably going to try to dodge. And
like
you get a 2-inch
your
move.
defense.
Yeah, so it'll be a face-to-face roll, your physical skill, because you're trying to like, get out of the way, versus their shooting skill.
Got you.
So that's when the face-to-face happens, yeah.
All right.
So basically, I can move, and I've got a 4. We've got 4s on all of these. They're all 4
hand me one of those
4s.
measuring sticks.
Yeah. I'll use one as well. I don't even need the measuring tape.
The measure.
So like, I declare a move, spin an order here on this thing. I can move 4.
You just hop over that fence?
No, not this one. You can these, though. And I just kind of like, it's a miniatures game. 4 there, and then let's say I wanted to do like 4 here. And I'll get to this corner and I can like set up. So that would be the example of a move.
Okay.
Now here's where the game gets interesting, as you well know because you've been here before.
Sure enough.
There's a thing in the game called the ARO, Automatic Reaction Order. This is what makes the game function.
I was getting ready to say, this is probably, when we first started playing, I remember this was the thing where all of us, like we were at a demo at Gen Con, I think.
Yeah.
And then this got explained, and then we did this.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, this is the hook. Because we played miniatures games, and a lot of times what happens in miniatures games, if you aren't familiar, I think we did play War Machine before this, is we each have big armies, and this is obviously not it was smaller scale. It was like 10 to 12 models in a full Infinity game. But it's like the first turn, it's like I take a turn where all my stuff runs up, you take a turn where all of it runs up. And then we get to the real turn where we start fighting. But even then, it's like, you do a bunch of stuff, and like those turns sometimes, because like you're having to look and estimate distance and make decisions.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in a turn of War Machine, and it'd just be 20 minutes of you going.
Yeah, right? Just moving everything up.
Yeah, because it's like you're moving a unit of 10 models, and it's
yeah.
like every exact positioning and how many inches they are from every tree and every hill matters. Anyways, whereas this one, it was like there was something for me to do while you were going. Anyways,
Yes.
explain it to me.
That's what you love. So let me just read. I'll read it from the book so that you guys can fully appreciate, what is in the actual literature, if you will, which is pretty helpful. So ARO, when the active player, let's say I'm taking my turn, declares the first skill of an order, and before declaring the second, both players check to see if any of the reactive player's troopers can react with an ARO. All the reactive player's troopers that have line of fire may declare one of these AROs. So as a good example, let's say I declare a move, and then I move my 4 and I go here.
Yep.
So it all happens simultaneously. So I declare my first skill. If at any point during that move you can draw a line of fire to me, then you can take that arrow to naturally shoot at me because I'm unexposed, right?
Like you would.
Yeah. So you declare what you're going to do in response, and then I declare the second skill of my order, and then everything happens simultaneously. So like, let's say I declare move, you declare that arrow, and then I declare shoot.
Yeah.
So now it's treated not as like I moved here and then shot at you. It's like I'm shooting as I'm moving to get to this barricade. So we have a face-to-face because we're trying to gun each other down, basically. And then after that's done, then it goes to the next order, and then the next thing happens. And the key thing about AROs that was always kind of confusing to me was if we had a situation where I'm moving from, let's say I'm moving from here to here.
Mm-hmm.
Now you could have taken an ARO there. If you don't take that ARO, you don't get one for the rest of the turn. So even if I move back into here, because you passed on your first opportunity, you had one, you can't then take an arrow here, according to this rule book, as I read it. But if I start here, where you can't see me, and then my first move, I move up here, you still can't see me, and then at the end of my second move, now you can see me, now we have that arrow.
Yeah,
right?
so it's kind of pass or play. If you pass on an arrow, you can't jump back in.
That's exactly right, yep. That is correct. Movements as you'd expect it to be, arrows are covered now. We've got initiative and deployment covered. The only other thing I guess we need to look at is like the face-to-face roll, which we can get to that whenever we actually have to roll it. And I think that's about it, man.
Okay. I think that's a nice little basic rundown, and we'll work out how all that's going, but we can just start, and if you want, you can take the first.
I'll take the first action.
And we'll see how it is. So I'm hidden behind this barricade, so I won't get an arrow. It's a nice way to set that up.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing with this one because you just really have to kind of set yourself in a position where if you want to react, you're also going to be slightly exposed to your opponent. So check this out.
All right, hit me with it.
We gather our orders, and I know that this guy is exposed already on my barricade. Now I'm in cover, as you'd expect.
And like super long distance.
But I'm just gonna jump this barricade.
Yep, and it's smaller than him, so you can hop it.
And I know I've got 8 on this ruler, so I'm just gonna Zach and I play miniatures games the way I think they should be played. So
I think that's how most people do it.
Peek around that corner, that's my one order.
Now, it was 4 and 4, right?
Yeah.
And I can't see you, so nothing happens.
Can't see me.
Now, are there any climbing rules in this one? Like, can you hop up there?
Yeah, so we've got a little demonstration of somebody in a ladder here.
Okay, we can get to that when we get to it if you want.
And really, it's nothing fancy. You start, if you're climbing, like if you're actually climbing a ladder or something, you start at the head of your model, and then you calculate inches up, and then you're on top of it.
Nice.
That's it. It's that simple.
Oh, and remember, used to you could fail.
Oh, there's all sorts of weird stuff.
You remember that?
I think you probably still can. This is like ladders and stuff, but maybe not.
I remember like you try to climb a wall, and if you fail, you'd fall down, like hurt yourself.
And just like hurt yourself.
Yeah, it's not fun. All right.
All right, so then I'm going to take my second order here.
Oh, you get all 3.
I get all 3. That's right. I'm going to move this guy.
That could be crazy. That's what So Achilles, if you had 3, right, he was a monster in physical combat. And so, like, you get close to someone, and you can just spend, like, 4 or 5 orders in a row just, like, slashing them down.
It was real fun.
Then you'd infect them with a virus, and it would be over. Where are you at over there?
I'm just peeking behind this little
I
building.
can't see him at all.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
The beauty of miniatures games right there, right? It's like, I can't actually see him. What's going on?
And then this one, I'm just going to move up. I'm going to move up and actually roll in behind this barricade so we can get some fighting done.
Yep. Like you do.
Just take a look at how this is going to go. So I spent all 3 of my orders. That's the end of my turn. You now calculate how many orders you've got based on how many models are standing up and
I got 3.
ready to go. So you've got 3.
Is there pre-measuring in this game, this here game?
For us, of course there is.
Your model's over on this side?
Yep. It's over there behind the building. I'm going to get some more coffee.
All right. You want to give me a pip?
Oh, I'll do it.
I'll spend my first order over here. I don't think you can see her.
Can't see it.
So I'll move 8. She's going to get up onto that invisible staircase.
I got the old mouse trap for you.
She's balancing right here.
There's that for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, so could I see you in any way?
I was from
No.
over here, so I don't
No,
think you
okay,
could
so-
see anything.
And they actually suggest in the book, look from the perspective of the model, to see
Yeah,
if
like
you can
literally
see
from the
anything.
eyes of the model.
It's really cool.
Now if you ARO this model, can you ARO Another model?
Every order, I get new ARO opportunities. Yeah.
Well, I figured.
I get 1 ARO per order that you spend there.
We're gonna
and then it
go.
resets. I remember so much now that I'm playing again, like getting, like looking.
Well, and another
it's
thing,
a very
it's
visceral game in that way.
Important to point out, if we look at the models here, they have these things along the front. And it's smart. They put these on the bases
Super
this
cool.
time. But this one dead center, that's the front of the model, and then these arrows kind of pointing down, that showcases the front half, and that's what they can see, right? You can't just see like 360 because you're a human. Or most of these things are humans. I assume some things have a 360 view. But anyways, those are painted. They painted that on, so it's nice that we can see
robots and such.
All right, then I'm going to take this order. And, well, I don't really see a way around this.
Let's go.
So
declare your first short skill,
he's gonna
your first move. Okay.
Yeah, to here.
All right, sweet. So now we have a moment, right? So before you declare your second skill.
And I remember so well. Because, like, basically the way you put them, it's like if this model here, I think they can see it, yeah, was facing this way, and Steven sneaks around back here,
yeah.
I can't see it.
Yeah.
So then, like, when you stop, like, I'm basically positioning it where I can see this, just in case he comes around the bend.
Very wise. And it's flavorful, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Zach took a short skill that put his model in line of sight of 2 of my enemy models. So at this point, I have an opportunity to declare either a shot I want to shoot at, or I could actually declare a dodge here because I'm worried about you shooting at me and I can dodge out of the way.
Yep.
So in this case, both of these models are going to take a shot at you.
Wouldn't it be cool if and maybe this is how it is in the real game, maybe not, I don't think so, if the arrows were tokens that you put face down.
Ooh, yeah.
And then you reveal
them secretly.
So it's like, basically, because now I have to choose my second action before that resolves, right?
Yeah.
So like I would have to choose that action before I know. Because like if I try to shoot you and you dodge the other way, I can't shoot you.
Yeah.
Right?
But I have to declare that before you choose. So the active player has an advantage, right? So if both of these things declare dodge, like you could just keep moving and ignore me,
So what are your arrows?
So it's going to be shoot, shoot. Yeah.
Of course it is.
It's going to be shoot, shoot. Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna also shoot.
Okay. So now we have a face-to-face roll. So if you pull up the combi rifle, if we look at this, you have there's a little burst, and it's going to tell us basically how many bursts that rifle has.
Which is how many dice you get to roll?
That's how many different shots you get to take. So it's a burst of 3. So you get to decide, of the 3 shots that you take, where are you going to put them? So you can put 2 on this one, 1 on this one, 2 on this one, 1 on that one.
Currently all these guys have 1 health?
All have 1 wounds, yeah.
So if I hit you for 1 unless you have armor or something weird going on?
Yeah, and there's like a saving throw to see if you
well, we'll do 2 at your front guy and 1 at the back guy.
Okay, and then when you're AROing, no matter the burst of your weapon, it's always 1.
Okay.
Right, so 1 shot at you, 1 shot at you. Now let us go to the face-to-face rules.
All right.
Okay. Face-to-face roll, here we go. When 2 or more troopers have opposing intentions, both players participate in a face-to-face roll. Each player rolls a d20 and compares the result to their trooper's success value and the opponent's result. The trooper with the highest result that did not go over its success value wins the face-to-face roll and cancels the opponent's attempt. Now, this is relevant to you. If the players can roll more than 1 d20 when comparing successes, cancel all enemy successes with a lower die result, even if they are canceled in turn by higher enemy successes. So we'll get to that. It's not terribly confusing. So then we're going to be shooting at each other. So let's look at the range of these weapons. The range of the combi rifle is the same for all of us.
I think that on this intro game, everything having like such similar stats is so good.
It's super smart, right? So here's what we need to know about the combi rifle. Anything within 16 is +3.
Wow.
And then once we get over 16, we start getting minuses.
Bad.
Because it's kind of a closer, it's like a mid-range weapon. Yeah. It's not a long-range weapon, right? So +3 to both of our ballistic skills since we are in the +3 range band of the combi rifle. So now let's roll it up. I remember this so lovingly now, actually.
So this was also, just for some context on this, we picked this game up about a year after we opened our store. And for our physical store for the first time. We'd been operating online with videos and blogs and selling stuff on the internet. But that was also a very unique period in our lives, I think.
It really
right?
was,
And
yeah.
so we had a store. We were all working way too much and getting way underpaid. But effectively, it was like the games themselves, right? That's some of my fondest gaming memories.
Yeah.
Because it was like there's chaos all around us and all this stress. And then like you could just, something like Infinity would just take over your brain for 2 hours, and
Yeah.
that was amazing.
It was really nice. All right, I'm going to actually cut us out of the box so that we can fully appreciate this. So let's just cut down to the table shot here. So we've got this trooper has moved over here, these two taking shots.
I went immediately, both of my models are in the space where you told me not to go.
Yeah, it's perfect, right? So let's start here. Let's do a face-to-face. So you're rolling how many dice against this one?
2.
All right, 2 versus 1. Let's
So let's
it
roll and see what happens. 20, normally good. 2 19s, how about that?
Well, we are all failing here. So my ballistic skill is 12, plus 3 for being in the right range band, so I'm at 15. So anything under a 15 is a success for me. I got a 20, so that's a complete failure. You're a BS of 11, ballistic skill 11, plus 3, 14. So anything under 14 is a success for you. None.
2 fails.
Everything's fails. So then we'll go to this shot. We're 1 versus 1 here. A 2, that's a success, but a low one.
12?
A 12, that's a higher success. See how that works?
Yes, because mine's a 14.
You're a 14, yep.
Yep. Now, do you get anything being behind that barricade?
Cover. I'm glad you asked.
Haha.
Let's see what cover says.
Jim Soder's saying, surprised Zach doesn't play Star Wars Legion. He seems so positive of the demo Gen Con. I still purchase and very occasionally play Legion. The problem with that game, like all war games, is that 1, assembly, but 2, it's on a 6-foot table and it requires a ton of stuff. They introduced a 400-point version of that game, which I'm super excited about, but I definitely have a Stormtrooper and Clone Army.
So cover can obstruct line of fire and also offer protection. Troopers in partial cover, which is what this is, impose a -3 modifier to the BS attribute of their attacker. So it was 11 plus 3 for range, -3 for cover. That means 11 or under is a success.
I failed.
You got a 12. So that means I will succeed with a lone 2.
Ouch.
So let's see what happens whenever I succeed. Successful attacks force the target to pass a saving throw or receive injuries and be removed from play. To calculate the attack damage, we subtract the following from the weapon's damage. Okay, so my weapon's damage is, and this is for both of us, the combat rifle is 13. So your armor attribute is subtracted, which is 1.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't know that. You don't have the thing in front of you. Yeah, so your armor value is 1. So I basically got a 13 minus 1, which is 12. You don't have any partial cover, so that would normally do that as well. And then any other modifications would matter. Once the attack damage is determined, so it's 12.
So now this doesn't count as partial cover.
It does not, because you were shot on the run, basically.
Okay,
we can
cool.
choose
Yeah, that's
whenever
cool.
we do that.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're rolling now. What are you looking for?
Basically, I have a 12, and if the d20 is equal to or lower than the attack damage, then it's successful. So I'm looking at a 12 or less is going to be a successful damage. So that's 10. Boom. And, oh wait, you're going to roll your saving throw. You roll. So you got to roll under a 12.
6.
If the final result is equal to or lower than the attack damage, the hit is successful. When this happens, the most common consequence is the loss of 1 point from the target's wounds or a change in their state. So if the trooper has wounds point, you're removed from play. So -1 wounds goes you to 0. You are removed from play. The end.
So I take a wound and die.
Take a wound and die.
Boom.
Done. Just like that.
Yikes.
Yeah. You like getting dead?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's right. So impacts generally cause the target to lose 1 wound when the result of the saving throw is equal to or less than the attack's damage. So there you go. It's hard out here getting shot at.
Getting.
You know what I mean?
Why is Zach crying?
So there you go. So that's the basic, I think, understanding of the ARO. So you move out of cover. I get to automatically react to that. You get to run away, and then you get to shoot at me.
So the basics there are when you're attacking, you're trying to get under or equal to your attack stat.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're both attacking, you want under or equal to your attack stat. and ideally above your opponent's
Yes.
number.
Right. Yeah.
And then assuming that hits, then whoever gets hit is making a save roll, and now they're looking to roll higher than your damage that you're dealing.
Yeah. They're
So
trying to roll higher.
You were dealing 13, but it was -1 for some reason.
It's -1 because you have 1 armor.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I basically am looking for a 13 or better to save myself.
That's right.
And if I don't, I take a damage. Now, I remember back in the old days, you would go into like a passed out state, and you could
Yeah,
get
the
recovered. I
unconscious state,
assume
whatnot.
later on they'll add stuff.
We probably will get there. We can like drag bodies around
Yeah.
and whatnot, for sure.
Okay.
So that's so like if your model has 6 armor, you know it's going to be -6 to my damage every time. It should be pretty easy to roll over that number. All right, so Zach, I believe we've done absolutely everything we can do here. Like I think we're just playing now.
Okay.
I think that's the end of the.
So then you get another turn, right?
Yeah. Now
Generate
I go.
orders equal to 3.
I generate 3 orders because I have 3 models here. And all right, so I'm going to continue on my quest to be as annoying as possible. Let's activate this model, the one here in the middle.
All right.
I'm going to declare a move as my first short skill, and we're going to roll essentially kind of right here.
I'm going to shoot you.
You're going to shoot me. All right, now I get to respond. I guess so my second is going to be a dodge. I'm going to see what that looks like.
Okay.
I'm curious.
So now I'm attacking, you're dodging. That's still a face-to-face roll.
It is a face-to-face roll. So I'm going to look up. I said that that's all that we had to know, but it's not true. We're going to go to how we do a dodge. And it may not actually be here in the first scenario. Maybe we're just supposed to shoot at each other, which actually would be nice.
You said you could dodge on when you're reading?
I may have looked ahead a little bit.
Oh, can't dodge.
It does tell you you can dodge. It does tell you you can dodge.
Let's just find it and let's dodge.
All right, I'll find it. I'll find it. I know what it is, if that helps.
What it is, what it
It's
ain't.
just your physical stat. You ever dodge anything?
I'm not a dodger, you know? I don't present as a dodger.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I completely agree.
It's just true.
Yeah, so it's actually telling us we can do the dodge, but in this first scenario, I don't believe it's actually telling us how to do it, but I happen to know how to do it.
All right, let's just do it. What do you got?
To the best of my knowledge. Oh, here it is, dodge. Declare a dodge. A trooper must be in base-to-base contact with or have line of fire to an enemy activated by an order or ARO.
Yeah.
You make a physique roll to avoid the CC or BS attack, and then if you succeed, you move up to 2 inches if it is successful. So it's literally a dodge. So my physical stat with this model is a 10, and your BS is 11, plus 3 because you're in good range. So it is. And
I'm going to shoot you when you weren't in cover.
That's correct.
So 14, and this is the magic of the system, right? Because technically, I could have up to a 14 that would be successful. Mm-hmm. Like if I roll a 12, you can't beat it.
Unless I get a critical.
Yeah, you would have to get 12. So if I roll a 13 or a 14, you can't beat it.
I remember those criticals are completely devastating.
Yeah. All right, so let's see what I get. 11.
An 11.
So you'd have to roll a 12.
I'd have to roll a 12 technically to beat you, but that would be a failure because my physique's only 10. So to actually beat you, I have to roll a 10 only.
A critical. Because a critical can win you the roll no matter what happens.
That's correct. Bless you. It's a 2. So I have failed, which means now we're going to calculate the damage on your...
I like this one.
On your rifle. So it should be the same thing. Your damage is 13 minus 1 because of my armor. So it's a 12.
So you have to roll higher than a 12.
Higher than a 12 to not die. And I didn't. I rolled a 2.
Why is Steven crying?
Because he just got dunked on. And Mark is right here saying in YouTube, generally there are some models that have high physique stats, so they're all about dodging.
Yeah,
These are not those models.
These are not them.
But we saw what it looks like. Okay. There's also some situations where like the 2-inch movement can be legitimate. Well, that's you're really turning the screws here, aren't you? How about this? What if I pop around this here building?
Hilarious.
So that's going to be 2 inches of movement.
Yeah, and this is nice because you're setting up. I don't know where. There you are.
There's 4.
I'm going to do this just so people can see it. Why not? Let's move the table.
Oh, yeah.
because we're not using that other side of the board right now.
You can't. I've got a little
Yeah.
sneaky model over
Yeah,
here.
and so that's smart because I'm here, right? And like, if I want to come here to shoot you, you're going to get an arrow on me.
That's right.
And are you wanting to face this way so you can see both sides? Is that your goal?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. Hey, I'm just.
So I declared my first short skill, which is a move. You don't have anything that can see me, so
Nope.
there's no arrow to be done.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to declare my second one.
Now, if I can see you, I can arrow and shoot,
Absolutely.
right?
Who's laughing now? So who can see me at this point?
She can see you.
Okay.
And because you stopped where you stopped, that one can't.
That's right. It's just genius strategy.
Yeah, so now I'm going to shoot back at you, ARO.
Now you'll notice that you actually don't have any partial cover, but I do.
Yep. So when I activate and move, you're going to get to just shoot me without any cover, no choice.
Total big brain time here. So I've got a burst of 3, so I've got 3 dice coming at you. And then you're going to respond with a ballistic skill shooting back.
You can move twice and shoot?
No, I cannot. Sorry.
Oh, hey, you want to rethink what you're...
No. I've got another order, and that's what my next order is going to be.
Oh, because you can do the same model twice. Oh my goodness,
Straight
how
up
good is
shooting.
that?
So if I survive this ARO,
You can just nuke me.
I can just nuke you.
That's
That's
very smart.
now the other thing I
You
can
know
do.
what? This is
It's super fun,
I
right?
forget how much I like this.
Here's the actual fuzzy math here. What I actually do is I just end where you can't see me,
Absolutely.
and then I spend my last order.
Because then you'll at least get to shoot me with your 3.
That's right. Last order will declare the move. You have an opportunity arrow.
I'll respond and shoot you.
You can dodge or you can shoot back. Up to you.
I mean, I don't think I can get out of your arc technically. If you do, now, yeah, that's fine. I'll just shoot you.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for the.
So I've got 3. My ballistic skill is a 12 because Pano's good at shooting.
Yeah, so you're 15.
15 because of range, and you'll be at 14, right?
And do you roll all those at once?
Yeah.
Do I roll mine right now?
Yep. So it's face to face. So the highest roll that's still a success will win.
2.
I've
Oh my
got 2
goodness.
10s and a 2. So you remember how this works? We cancel each other's
Yep, the
dice
2s
out.
go away.
The 2s will go away. And then I have 2 dice that were higher than your highest success. So you're going to make 2 saving throws on armor 12.
So I need 13s or better.
13s are higher on both. Yep.
2
Ooh,
12s.
Double 12s. Actually, I think those are double crits.
Nuh-uh.
Because it's a 13 damage, -1 for your armor is 12. So you just rolled 2 critical hits.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah, let's take a look at what crits say. Incredible. How would you have done that?
That's ironic if true.
Let's see.
Big if true.
Where are the criticals here? I saw them recently. Yeah. Face to face. Got it. Line of fire. Got it. Maximum is +12, -12. Criticals. On a result that the dice matches the success value, the roll is a critical success. Criticals always win, trumping any non-critical result rolled by the opponent. If both players roll a critical, the face-to-face roll is a tie and both troopers fail.
But I remember you reading I needed to get over your number.
You're right. I think on saving rolls, there are actually no criticals that can happen. And I don't know if this is could be a change for code 1, could not be. So this says if your final result is higher than the attack damage, you receive no damage. Neither of those results are higher than the attack
So then I'm
damage.
smoked.
You take 2 bullets and you're done.
All right.
That's the end of my turn.
All right, so now when I start, I get 1 order per model on the board, right?
You get 1
so
order.
I get 1 order.
You got to Rambo style it, yeah.
Well, I know what I want to do.
Oh, yeah. He was climbing.
Because, I don't know, I just like being way up top.
Okay. All right, you know what? I'm so into this. Let's go. All right, so I got 2 orders. I'm going to spend them here. Tell me, Zach, do you think you can see me as I hug this building?
Mark says no crit since face-to-face roll, but rolls 3, basically 12 plus 1 for his armor is 13, the damage. So he's saying I saved it.
Oh. Let me
It's
make sure
or
that that's
higher,
right.
not equal. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's higher.
So you calculate the attack damage. So the attack damage, you actually subtract armor from that attribute, and then you got to roll over that. So you got to roll over a 12.
John says hit me with a pip.
Hit you with a pip. What does that mean?
PIP? I don't know.
Oh, picture in picture, yeah. We'll get back to
Got
it. You
it.
can see our lovely faces now. All right, so Zach, I'm moving
Green
from
means
here.
you can't though, right?
You're right. Boom.
There it is.
There we are. So I'm going to move here. This is 8. Can you see me through any of this?
I don't think so.
Eee, I'm hugging the building like a pro tactical trooper.
Now I could see you.
All right. You want to ARO that thing?
Yeah, I'm shooting you.
All right. I did a move. You saw me at the last second.
So what do I need? A 15 or lower? 14 or lower.
14 or lower, yep. That's a failure. That's what that looks like.
All right.
Actually, it's 11 because I don't know. Would I be in cover?
I
feel
don't
like
think
you're
so.
just shooting me like on the top of my head.
I think when I look from here, it's like, can I see more than half your model technically?
Let's look at what cover actually is. It's actually a little bit clearer now. Partial cover when it's in base-to-base contact with a piece of scenery that partly blocks the line of fire of the attacker. It's partly blocking, right? And I'm in base-to-base with it?
I don't know. I can see your whole body.
Yeah, I agree.
Like from literally right here.
Yeah.
It's like all the way. I can see your feet. I mean, that's a sign.
I'm into it. Yeah, I like it. Then I'm going to spend my second order, and I'm going to declare a move with this model. And it's going to be a 4-inch move.
He's coming.
We're going to play a little get in the hen house here.
Yeah.
So
I like it. You're basically taking a shot with one model and keeping the other one safe.
Yep. Now, you can take your shot, your ARO shot, as I'm coming up the stairs. Or you can pass it, but if you pass it, you don't get it back.
I'm shooting you.
Yeah.
What are you doing as your action?
I probably try to dodge this, right? I could try to shoot back at you.
You get way more bullets than me.
That's true. I should try to do that. Yeah, I'm going to try to clear you out.
So I'm looking at, now I'm in cover.
You're in cover. I'm not.
And you're not.
Yeah, so you're at a -3. So I'm normally at a 15, -3 is 12. So 12 is my success
And
number.
I'm at 14.
And yours is 14.
So I really,
You only got one die,
I need
though.
the 14. 13.
Ooh, that's good. So I actually need a crit here.
Yeah.
8, 6, 20. No bueno. So I get one saving throw. It's got to be a 13 or higher to not die here. It's an 8.
He gone.
Okay, over to you. 1-on-1. Let's go.
What if I don't want to go? All right. I'll move. Don't mind me.
Come get me.
4 here. You can't see me.
I can't see you. Nope. So I'm passing on any ARO opportunity I have there, but I don't have one. Now, if somehow I can see you at the end of this next short skill, I'll be able to declare one. Muni asking
stay there.
why the multiple dice. So every weapon does have a burst, and so the active player has a natural advantage when they're shooting because they get to use the full burst of their weapon. So a combi can shoot 3 times, and then when you're an ARO, it only is ever a burst of 1 no matter what weapon you use. Now, if it's like a rocket launcher, that doesn't matter, which is why they're pretty good at AROing, as I remember.
I'm staying right there.
No, passing the short skill.
Basically, I wanted to not be able to see you the moment you came around the corner.
Yeah.
Because you could shoot me. Now you're gonna have to, if you want, you have to move, and then to get, you'd have to either wait or,
yeah. We're playing the old
cat
chicken.
and mouse game.
All right. Well, I'm gonna declare a move here. I'm gonna come back here.
He's hiding.
You know what? That's so pretty. Just looking like a model like this, just knowing that your gun is trained on me, there's something really satisfying about that.
Yep. It looks good. Speaking of which,
You know what?
let me get a picture.
I know you've got all the odds in the world to succeed at this. But I believe that I'm
Set up for success.
I believe that I'm actually just going to take a shot at it.
Hey, no time like the present, right?
Man, just like you can see the little...
I'm trying to get there.
How cool. Yeah, keep going. There you go. You see yourself back there?
Yeah, I'm trying to move focus on it.
How terrifying is that?
All right, cool.
All right, I'm doing it, man. I'm declaring a move
I declare.
as my second skill.
They're giving me a shot.
You're getting a shot. Yeah.
All right, here we go. What do I need? Because you weren't in cover when you
I
took
wasn't
the
in
shot.
cover, so it's just a raw 14 for you.
4.
Rolled a 4. Here's a saving throw.
13 or better.
I got it. It's a 19.
Did it.
Safe.
All right, my turn.
Your turn.
And you can't see me.
I don't think so.
Zoom in.
Nope, can't. Oh
All
my
right.
gosh, it's such a cool scene though.
I'm going to move 4 down.
I forgot how much I actually like these games a
And
lot.
we're going to move 4 over. It's
All
really
right.
it's really nice what's going on right here.
All right, here's one.
Because we're both trying to get like the second
four.
action is when we can see each other.
Can you see me?
Nope.
Huh. I kind of want to beeline for those stairs, but I'm certain that I would be exposed. I'm going to stay there.
All right.
Over to you.
All right.
Yeah, Curtis making a lot of sense here. Curtis is the goat here in the chat. In case it's not already obvious, each model generates one order at the start. So Zach and I are down to one model. So
What's cool is that like the choices I have here, right? Tactically speaking,
mhm.
it's like I could move up 8 to like right where you can't see me,
Yeah.
and then technically you can move and shoot me. You'll get 3 dice to my 1, and I'm not in cover, so that's bad. Another option I have, which I think is good. I need to see. This is the old miniature.
Yeah.
you
You want
go
to get the
here?
laser pointer out?
Another option I have is basically, I think if I come here,
mm-hmm.
we're both getting obstructed views
Mm-hmm.
of each other, and I'm attacking.
And so you got 3 of 1.
So I think that's a good plan. So
Yeah, I
I'm
like
gonna
that
move here.
plan. Nice.
I believe
Oh, it's so pretty.
right
Oh
there
my
we can see
gosh.
each other. And let me get a
Yeah.
picture of that, because
Yeah, I
that's
love
going to be
that.
a moment.
Whew.
And then I'm going to shoot, of course, and I get 3 bullets. We're both in cover. You have a little bit better ranged attack, so
Yeah. So I'm hitting a 12 and you're hitting an 11,
I'm gonna wait till I can see your guy.
which is really nice. Look at it, it's so cool. So one of the cool things about Infinity too, are like you set traps for your opponent, right? You have to. Sometimes you'll just put a model in like a lane of traffic, like covering a lane of traffic, so that if the opponent wants to move into a strategic position, they have to take incoming fire.
There's a
it's
risk.
one of the coolest things about this game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm rolling 3.
You need 11s. I need a 12. Under 12, rather. Oof.
10, 11, and a 13, so the 13's out, but 11's a crit, right?
11's a crit. Now, the only way I believe that I win here, I think crits cancel each other. So we'll see if I can roll a 12. That's the only thing that's possible. It's
Oh,
a 13.
man.
All right, so now I roll a saving throw.
What does a crit mean?
A crit, I'll show you. I'll read from it here in just a second. So you had 2 successes?
Yeah.
So I take 2 saving throws. 14 and a 19, both of those have succeeded, which means that I live to fight yet another day.
Oof.
So criticals. Let's cover criticals here.
Curtis says crit means 2 save throws.
Oh, is that true? That's not in our little intro scenario, but I'm sure that is what it means.
Tony's saying this game's so photogenic. I totally agree. So that having the pre-colored terrain and whatnot, it's a miniatures game, so it's supposed to be a spectacle.
So critical says the roll is a critical success. In a face-to-face roll, criticals always win, trumping any non-critical result rolled by the opponent. If both players roll a critical, the face-to-face roll is a tie and both troopers fail, which is interesting. It's not like if your critical's higher, yours succeeds. No matter what, we just push, basically. Yep. And then, on the saving throws and damage, in general, they cause 1 wound, and then when a critical success is rolled in any attack roll, the target must perform an additional saving throw. So I succeeded on both, but will the critical get me? Tune in this time. Yes, it will. Rolled a 4. That's a failure. And so your strategic play made sense.
Look at that. That was a nice little scrum, right?
It's a fun little intro, right?
Yeah, you're seeing how orders work, how activations work, how line of sight works, how hitting and damage works, how the dodge works, how like we literally hit all the fundamental aspects.
Yeah.
And obviously we all have 1 armor, 1 health. So like
Same weapon.
all
no
the same
skills.
weapon, and like even you can imagine if the first game you were playing you had 10 models, they all have different ranges with weapons that do different things that have different numbers and it's like
It's a
you're
disaster.
constantly just like, oh my goodness,
Are
how
you
do
in cover? What weapon? What's your bonus? What's your damage? What's the modifier?
But this is so much more digestible,
Just
one step at a
approachable
time. Yeah.
Right off the bat, right? So look at this. So check this out. Also, I'll take it to nothing but face here. We've got mission 2, which we'll play now. Then there's mission 3. Then there's mission 4. Secure the project
I was
lab.
just waiting for you to be like, then there's mission 5.
Now we're introducing sniper rifles and boarding shotguns.
Yep.
There's also mission 5,
Knives.
where we're introducing monofilament swords.
Get out of here.
Hello. And then that's it. So you get 5 missions that are onboarding you into the more advanced
Yeah,
techniques,
and
right?
the fact that Infinity 1 is the streamlined version and there's 5 missions worth of stuff to like teach tells you. But again, we had a conversation a while back on the podcast about earned games.
Yes.
And like the thing about miniatures games with assembly and painting and terrain already is that the barrier to entry is high.
Yes.
And that's enough to keep a lot of people out. But also, I think for the people that get there, that is what creates these like insanely nuanced and deep levels of commitment and passion for these games. Because not everyone can get there, but the people that do get there, when you have a fully painted army, and you've gone through this, and you've gone through the rules, and you get to the
It's totally
point.
worth it. And it's the same people you've seen the past 4 years who were willing to get into it when you got into it. And now you guys have seen each other at Adepticon or at Gen Con, and you played against each other, and you've talked about Infinity Online. So it just really builds that community because there's no free pass to be an Infinity player. Just like there's not a free pass to be a Legion player or anything.
Yeah.
You have to put the time in to do this. And some of the models, oh my gosh, isn't it Angel who does a lot of their painting?
For what?
For Infinity.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because
Angel's the bomb.
every time I go to that display case at one of these conventions, I lose my mind. It's painful.
It's painful.
It's like, how can this look better than real life?
It does.
Because it's art, that's why. All right, Zach, let's do number 2. Let's just try mission number 2 here. It's 1 page.
All right.
So it looks like things might not matter so much. So we actually are going to be using some different models.
Okay.
Let's see what it says. And I'm just going to run this. I haven't actually seen this, so let's run this from the top. You guys can be a part of this with us. So Lars Markland is a patriot. He joined the Orc troops with the goal of protecting his country and defending his Svalarheima compatriots from any possible enemy, but especially from the incessant Yujing threat.
That's me.
It was true that the Winterfor had allowed him to fulfill his dream on many occasions, but this time might not be one of them. After having been sent to the front line in Helheim and having patrolled the unstable border with Huangdi, to be assigned some corporate facilities protection duty was terribly disappointing and not in line with his modus operandi. He was thinking about this while crossing the administrative area towards the surveillance offices when his HUD notified him of an intrusion alert in the snowmobile hangar. He hadn't even had time to open up a communication channel with his team when the opposing servo-powered armor of a distinctive Yujing design appeared in the doorway of the administrative area. Lars released his weapon's safety with a joy unusual for someone who was supposed to protect their country's interests. He silently thanked the evil state empire for bringing him another new opportunity to live his dream.
Maybe getting a little close to home here.
It's cool though, right? Like they actually, it's true. It could actually be like, all right, set up your models and then fight. But it's like, give me a reason. I'm invested in this a little bit. I like
Tell me about the characters, their motives, etc.
All right, so now it says the mission introduces the concept of a lieutenant and the difference between regular orders and special lieutenant orders. It also explores some of the depth of the initiative and deployment rules. In addition, the Dodge +1 special skill and AP special ammunition, armor piercing, are also introduced, as well as the multi-rifle. So we add a little bit of flavor.
Yep.
Okay, so now we get to know regular troopers versus lieutenants.
Okay.
So a regular trooper uses a regular order. Ding! They've received formal military training and can work as a team. That's what your regular troopers are. At the start of your active turn, each regular trooper provides 1 regular order, and they go into your order pool. Great. But then we have this. This is lieutenant order. It's the leader of your combat force responsible for coordinating troops and making on-the-ground tactical choices. The identity of your lieutenant is a secret. You must write down the identity of your lieutenant before the game starts and disclose that information to your opponent only when your lieutenant dies or you use your special lieutenant order. So you can keep your lieutenant a secret, but then if you ever want to use their special order, your opponent then knows who's given out the commands, right?
And is the lieutenant order once a game?
Each of your active turns, your lieutenant generates an extra special order that he can only use on himself. To represent it, use the lieutenant order token. Using it will reveal the identity of your lieutenant. So you can do something awesome. You can take an extra activation with your lieutenant, but then everybody knows that's your lieutenant, right?
And is there some bad penalty for you getting rid of my lieutenant?
Later on, I'm sure we'll demonstrate that, but as I remember it, if your lieutenant goes down, there's a morale problem with your army, and they try to run away and hold themselves together, right? That's where willpower comes in, I believe. Okay, so now we're going to do it a little bit differently on initiative. Before the game starts, make a face-to-face roll using their respective lieutenant's willpower attributes. Both players roll a d20 and compare the results. The one with the highest result that hasn't exceeded the willpower of their lieutenant is the winner of the initiative roll. And you can choose between keeping deployment or keeping initiative, which is basically, do you want to put your stuff on the board or do you want to go first?
Okay.
Okay, so secret lieutenant, we got to know that. Let's take a look at who we're adding. So you add 1 Jujak, and I'm going to add 1 orc troop. And I'm going to kind of figure out what those look like. There we go. So we got a little guide here in the front. So, man, your thing looks awesome here. Look at that, like, shock trooper Jujak.
Just the old puncher.
I like these old crazy helmets, you know? There you go. Look at that guy. Whew. Now that's a model.
He's thick.
Gorgeous. And then I'm adding an orc troop, one of my favorite models. Got that flowing cape. Dude,
You always gotta love capes.
let me tell you something. Capes and guns,
It's about,
you know,
it's like peak.
call me old-fashioned.
theme.
Call me old-fashioned, but I gotta tell you, I love it. It really makes me excited. Okay, so now we're going to go.
Guess who my lieutenant is?
Yeah, right. I'm gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna unstack these buildings.
Okay.
And basically nothing really has changed. We're just going to put them opposite our big things here. Just put them like this. Does that work for you?
Oh, see, this is...
Just here, just move this stuff, and let's just put a building over here. Boom. How about that? That's a nice
How about that?
infinity.
And then there's one of these in here.
I'm going to move this in so we can just
Actually,
get it all
I see
on
what they're
board
doing.
here.
Yeah. So they basically have this in front of the stairs to protect it. So move that over a little.
Yeah,
And then you have
nice.
some barricades back here, the small ones.
Boom. All right. Check this out. Come with us. Yeah, Age of Adam. Yeah, you can. And I am very interested in Destiny. Okay. Very nice. So we've got the board set up. Big buildings, medium buildings.
Yep.
We have an objective point thing here too. And as I remember it, so I think games only usually last a number of rounds, which kind of prevents that forever tango.
Yeah.
So for each enemy trooper eliminated, 1 objective point. If you're the first to eliminate the enemy lieutenant, you get 2 objective points. And then for each friendly trooper who survives the game, you get 1 objective point. And this
Okay.
is going to end when there's no more troopers on the table. And
So,
then if it comes right down to it at the very end, if I killed your lieutenant first, and then we each and then you end up with 1 model left on the table, it's kind of going to be a tie, because you've suffered you've given me a kind of a morale problem. My lieutenant, no. Okay, so if you want to keep initiative, you choose which player has the first turn. If you want to keep deployment, you choose who deploys first. So those
What's
are going
my
to be your
willpower?
options. It's whatever your lieutenant's whip stat is. If it's your big boy, which I imagine it would be, because they have 2 wounds each, so these are like hardier models. Your willpower is going to be a 13.
all right. 20.
Technically, we would do this like in secret, you know, we wouldn't know whose is what. We'd just say how much we succeeded by. 13, nothing like critting that initiative. I think that counts,
Flexing
right?
on it.
Yeah. And then the one with the higher result that does not exceed their willpower. So yeah, I totally nailed it. I want you, I'm going to keep deployment. So I'm going to choose who deploys first and in which deployment zone. Obviously, we're on this side of the table. We're not going to worry about deployment zones. I want you to deploy first.
All right.
And then you'll choose who gets to take the first turn.
All right.
Deploy on. And again, we just added 1 model. Like, this is cool, right? You feel good about that?
I do.
And technically, you have to decide who's going first before you deploy. Do you want me to
I
go
pick.
first or you? Yeah.
I'll go first.
Okay. Zach's going first. Nailed it.
I remember on deployment, because there were some tricky models that could deploy stealthily on your side of the table. So you would like have your commander here, and then you would like protect him with like so that they can like back-to-back see.
There's weird stuff, and there's stuff that would parachute in, you know, that you could bring in mid-game. It's insane.
I do remember. All right. Got it.
Okay, now we're also going to introduce, I'll go ahead and deploy my stuff. We've got little boxes that tell us where our deployment zone is. We're just going to...
I just stuck like this.
Yeah, that seems good. Okay, so I'll stick to this boundary.
Yeah.
Okay, Fusiliers, you know, and I kind of want them to stay together, you know?
Now, are we going to generate 4 orders plus we have a lieutenant order if we're willing to reveal it?
Yeah, I think so.
That's 5.
If you're willing to spend it. Check this out. My lieutenant's going to lead the pack here. Now, you don't know he's my lieutenant, but he is. Just for everybody watching at home, that's the reality. All right. I just love this. It's like, oh, yeah, you want to come down that chute?
Yeah, you got a gunner right there waiting for it.
Yeah, I got 2
right
of them. I got
here.
one around the corner. I'm going to send you packing.
So, Kat, any opinion so far? I would definitely say this is way more digestible than what I originally remembered.
Can you imagine if we had had this when we started trying to learn Infinity?
It would have been way better. Because
Oh
we
my
didn't have the
gosh.
terrain either, so we were using like, you know, paper towel rolls as like towers and like war machine trees.
Okay, so that's all that. And then we have a couple of new rules. So we've got a dodge, which is if there's a positive modifier in round brackets next to a special skill, it'll be applied only to the user of that skill. So we have both of our people, or no, only yours has a special skill. It's called dodge +1. So when you dodge, you actually are
What
going to
does it do?
move, I'm going to guess, 3 inches.
Instead of 2.
That's my guess, yeah. I think that's how that's going to go. And it says you add 1 inch to the distance you move if the dodge roll is successful.
Nailed it.
So you're a faster, dodgier model. Doesn't look like it. You
Interesting.
Look
I mean,
thick,
maybe
but-
I roll up in like a roly-poly state.
That's right. You're like a brill bar. All right, and then we also have armor-piercing ammunition. In the saving roll, each successful hit with a weapon loaded with armor piercing reduces the armor to half of its original value. Rounding up. As a result, any arm value of 1 or more cannot be reduced below 1. So this is good because you now on your orc trooper, or you on your Jujak have 3 armor, and I've got 4 on mine.
And both our big guys have armor piercing?
Let's find out. Armor piercing is only on the multi-rifle, which is me. So you get +1 dodge, I get armor piercing rounds.
Cool. I like that.
Right?
You just have to remember one thing.
Yeah, exactly. AP ammunition only affects the target's arm value, not the damage provided by partial cover. So basically, if your armor is 3, it would have that rounded up for every one that hits. So it would go 2, and if the second one hits 1, and then that's the end of it.
SoCat's saying, I want to get into a minis game, but I don't want to constantly have to refer to the rulebook or charts anytime I make a roll. There are definitely some games that actually fit that description. I think the top candidates for me, off the top of my head, Christ Protocol, you don't have to reference charts when you roll.
There's a lot on the cards, but there's not that
There's no
kind
rule
of
book
calculation.
looking.
Yeah.
Also, Legion is very similar in that. There's stat cards on the table, and you don't have to reference a rule book often.
Arena Rex.
Arena Rex is also really good for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one that I'm curious to actually play, I got a demo at Gen Con, is the Song of Ice and Fire miniatures game.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was from Eric Lang. I think it was one of the core designers, and I remember talking to him about it, and it was like essentially trying to make sure all rules are on the table and nothing's in the rule book. Which is interesting. It's kind of more of a board game approach.
Yeah. But I will say, like, even when I was playing Infinity in a very, and this was years ago, so it was very clean, I would say. At a certain point, you know your army, you know your range bands. Most things are like 16 inches, and you know your basic rolling mechanics. So, yeah, there will be some times to reference a rule book. I think in Code 1 it would be a lot less. But you do learn pretty quickly that there's basics at play with like average numbers, average range bands, etc.
Well, and I think that was one of the difficulties for me is like floating specific information is a lot for my brain. So I'm a card gamer, right? So I'm used to just being able to see it on the table.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, like, if you came from a miniatures background, it's going to be very normal or like intuitive for you. And if you don't, you're either going to love that or not. And I don't like reading rule books. So like
That's a problem.
it for me it was a definite barrier. It's way better here, but I can definitely see like that. This is a certain style of miniatures game, and it is very like it's almost like coffee. You either like love this thing or like that is not for you.
I would say it's at the pinnacle of this style of minis game. Kind of a more traditional, but it still has all of these newer mechanics and elements that make it feel very fast and very free-flowing, which is super nice. And honestly, 40K and even Warhammer Fantasy, there are some modeling triumphs there where you go to the Adepticon and you look at some of these tables and it's unbelievable. But this game has such a certain aesthetic to it. When you see Infinity at its best, it is one of the most gorgeous things in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pure art on a table. And these little tactical teams running around, it's so cool.
Yeah, and I do remember this. Someone on the chat saying, Naughty Corp, saying, for Infinity, there are apps and websites that allow you to build a list and print all the info you need for your army, so you have cheat sheets. I remember that. So you basically
you
build a list,
printout,
you print it, and it's got, in one page or less, all the data you need.
Yeah.
And that obviously, like, not being physical cards means they can adjust the stats. And I remember them doing that, right? It was like, this armor's too high, this attack's too high, this benefit's not enough. And so they would actively make sure the game was healthy and the models were playable.
It's great. All right, Zach, you ready to get this started?
Let's go.
You're going first. So you generate 4 orders. And then you also have a lieutenant order if you want to spend it.
Oh, but I get to use it every turn, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing it. This is my lieutenant right here. This guy, big guy, 2 health.
How did I know?
All right, first order, and this is what's super cool, right? Now that we have some more models, with my lieutenant order, I have 5. So like my lieutenant or anybody could get all the way across the board.
Oh yeah,
like
you could roll
just as an
into
example. You have the measuring
Dogtown
sticks
here, right here, or the 6, yeah.
So I could take my move 8 per order. Even this cat right here in this corner, it's like. This is 8, and you could probably see me with someone. Maybe not. I don't think so.
Not really.
So then I can move 8 again. Like I could literally sneak up, and is he facing this way?
He's facing that way.
So like you couldn't even see me. I'm just coming behind and
Isn't
shooting.
that cool? It feels like now this guy has an arc on you, so it could cover for this guy. And there's a rule in this. Now we haven't gotten to it yet, but there's a rule where if somebody attacks you and you can't see them, you can take an ARO to turn and face them.
Nice.
So like you at least don't just keep getting wrecked.
Yeah, because that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go here with this here model. This here.
Yeah, Jeremy, you're completely right. You use the app. They've been using that app for years, so all the stat lines can change as they need to, and you build your list, and it automatically generates. You print it out. It's what got us really jacked about doing that for X-Wing.
Yeah.
And just like rebalancing as you go.
X-Wing was caught in a real unfortunate pickle.
Caught in a...
So I used one activation to get her up here,
okay.
my lookout, so to speak. And then I'm gonna move this here model.
For a short skill, is that 4-inch move?
I'm going to move 4, and then I'll move 4
and
again.
Keep moving. All right. Do I have any shots? Can you see this blue model at all? I think we're just out.
I cannot, but I'm basically covering that little lane so I can see it.
It's so cool. Every time I do that, I feel like I'm
in
a battle.
It gets you somewhere. That was number 2. Number 3... I don't want to get snuck up on. We're going to move this guy with my lieutenant order.
Also, Corvus Belli is just an awesome company.
That is
They got the PvP Geeks vibe, you know. They've got like that kind of indie.
They've been around for a while.
Indie, but just obsessed with quality and passionate about the products they're making. Just love it. Is this bright enough, guys, the overhead? I can brighten it a little bit if I need to.
All right, next thing I'm going to go again with my lieutenant. I'm not afraid of anything. You know what I mean?
You using that lieutenant order?
I already did it.
It's official.
He's going to move here.
All right. Get ready. I'm definitely going to take an arrow here.
Yeah, and I'm going to shoot him.
Okay. We got a face-to-face. Boom. You were in partial cover the whole time during that move?
Yep. So I was over here, and then I walked along the edge.
So you'll be in partial cover. I'll be in partial cover. So that's -3 to both of our stats. My BS is 12. Your BS on your, which is ballistic skill. It's funny to say, always. Your ballistic skill is 13 minus 12. So it's going to be +3 for the right range.
13 minus 12.
-3. minus 12. Yours is 13.
It sounds like minus 12. I was like, I'm hitting 1.
You got to hit a 1. So you'll find this happens a lot in Infinity when you're playing normally. Your partial cover is -3, your range band is usually +3. So if you're in partial cover and not an idiot, you're mainly going to be zeroing out on cover versus range. So basically your 13 versus my 12 is what we're looking at here. I get 1 burst because it's an arrow. You have a burst on your combi rifle of 3 as normal.
All right. So I'm looking for what, 12s?
12 or less. 13 or less, rather.
Got an 11,
11
and
and a 2, so 2 successes.
My 17
And then
fails.
anything underneath this die I will cancel out on your side.
Unless you fail.
A 14, in which case I have failed.
Total fail.
Total fail. So now I've taken 2 hits. Ah! Your lieutenant's unbelievable. So the damage on your combi rifle is still 13. I'm in armor of 1, so it's actually going to be a 12. So I need 12 or higher. 1 success, 1 failure. Your second shot has knocked me off of the board.
All right. And your lieutenant's facing the wrong way, right?
You're facing the wrong way unless you came around this corner.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna use my last order with my lieutenant. I'm just calling it like it is. So he's gonna move. I don't think you can see me here.
Oh yeah, right here.
No.
1,000 ways.
No.
Oh my gosh, come over here, you'll see it. It's just incredible. Look at this guy.
I can see it. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
So I guess he'll move straight. Technically, if I was here, can he see me?
Nah, I don't think so. We can play either I can shoot up to you or you can shoot down. Now, there's one rule in Infinity. If you can see me, I can see you.
I'll just like end my movement here.
Cool. So that's your first short skill.
First short skill.
And I can declare arrows at any point during that. So I will take a shot. Well, your ballistic skill pretty good, but my physical is not good. I'll take a ballistic shot at you, yeah. So now you can either dodge and roll, or you can shoot back at me with 3 bursts.
Or I can just move.
You could just move. Yeah.
And you could still take a shot
No
at me.
face to face at all, and I just try to roll under a 12, yeah.
Yeah. I'll just shoot you. Let's see if I can take 2 of your activations off the board.
Yeah, that seems good. All right, so I'm at a 12. I failed with a 19. Oh,
Triple
and Zach
fails.
rolls nothing but net, nothing but failures.
I'll actually do this in case you come up the stairs. I can still see you like
Is that the best you can do?
Yep, that's me. That's my turn.
Okay. Dude, do you see this? Can you see this little gap in here?
Oh yeah.
Like if I pop around here, but then I think this guy can see me too.
That's the goal.
He's in a dominating position.
I can see your lieutenant. So if you move your lieutenant, I'm immediately gonna get to do something.
Oh my gosh. So Cat, yeah, this box set is available now. Yes, it is. Okay, so you're saying I should just take some shots at you. I've got 1, 2, 3 orders in my lieutenant order. Let's check this move out. This can be super fun. So let's take a move with, I think you probably can't see this area, right?
Nope.
Now, can you see here with this thing?
Nope.
Not at all.
Nope. I can see like to here.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Okay, well let's get wild. All right, spin an order here. I'm going to declare my first short skill as a move. I get a move stat of 4. Oh my gosh, I hid information from both of us. Our lieutenants are 6'2", so we get a 6-inch original move, and if we keep going, it's 2. The other ones were 4'4". These are 6'2s. I'll play this guy 4'4" this turn, and then if he's still on the board, we can go to 6'2".
Not sure who are you going with?
I'm going with this thing.
He's not a 6'2", he's a 4'4", right?
He's a 4'4".
Yeah.
I just had checked the. Anything in here? Can you see me?
Not yet.
I just snuck by, didn't I? Stay there. Second action or second order, I'll spend to roll here
Now I can see you.
and take a shot here.
All right, I think I can see you with both of these.
Okay,
So
let's
they're
do
both
it.
going to respond?
2 AROs coming at me, and then I've got a burst of 3, and I'm going to send it all here.
Okay. So I'm in cover, you're in cover.
We're all in cover.
I'll do the face-to-face on this because that's face-to-face, then that'll just be not face-to-face.
Yeah, no, I could send one shot at you just to have a chance of like,
Canceling out?
I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
send
fine.
one at your lieutenant.
Because she
and
only has
2
1
at
health, so yeah. Okay, so first one here.
Yeah, 12 is my stat, 11 is your stat.
All right. 11.
Ugh. All right, so you got a critical. Then let's roll.
Your face
let's
when I hit that
resolve
crit?
against your lieutenant here. 13.
And so you resolve all the shots before you do damage.
Yeah, 13, which is a fail.
I also
on my
failed.
end. Okay. So there was one success on your end, and it was a critical success, so I have to roll twice.
Yeah.
Above
And what are you
your
looking for?
damage.
My damage is what?
It's 12.
12?
Because of my armor, yeah. Oof. 2 failures.
Ka-dunk. Why is Steven
Unbelievable.
crying?
Because he's getting dunked on. And let me make sure cover also, -3. Oh, and also -3 to damage. Okay, so that's something we were missing. So cover also gives you a 3 bonus, basically, to successful not getting wounded.
So instead of a 13, you were looking for a 10. 9, because of armor.
9, because of armor, yep. So I was looking for a 9, but I rolled a 2 and a 4. So,
Cool.
See ya. It was a good run, Fusiliers. Good job. I love this. Curtis and Mata. Everybody in the chat that knows what's happening is just laughing hysterically right now.
Yeah,
All right, so you think we can see here?
Yeah.
Each other here?
definitely.
All right,
And if you move with him, my
it's happening.
loot. My loot's going to get a
Spin
shoot.
lieutenant order. We're going to do a little, hey, how are you?
There it is. Spinning and moving so we can see each other.
That's right.
Now, you want to be in base to base with that thing, right? So that you get cover? Or are you moving away from it?
I might do a downtown move here. Trying to kind of get, yeah, so I could just do it like this. Base to base, and then kind of snap into base to base here, right? That
Yeah,
seems good.
I'll
And
give you
then
that.
Twirl.
So
do a total equilibrium move there.
you get cover from this shot, but you don't get cover from this one.
Right.
Because I can shoot you when you're not in cover.
That's correct.
So they'll both arrow you.
So I'm gonna go 2 here, 1 here, on with the armor piercing
Trying to
rounds.
equal out the game a little bit.
That's right. I got to make a choice here.
And actually, can you see her right now?
I don't think so.
You know what we need? We need that laser
We
pointer.
need that laser pointer. What about here? Can you see this right now?
I don't know.
You'd be like the coolest sniper on earth if you could hit that shot. Can you imagine?
That's close.
Let's do
I
it.
can't
I
tell.
like it. It's
I
epic.
can't tell.
It's epic. Let's go.
I mean, I feel you're behind. I'm not gonna do it.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do burst, burst, burst.
Okay, then I will shoot.
Yes,
3
right.
to 3.
One on
Which
all of
one
them.
first?
Let's start with downtown. Let's make sure it's still 16.
Now you can still end way back where you were.
Yeah, but this is gonna be my most favorable shot. Yeah, so we're within 16 of everything.
All right.
So cover here, cover here. My skill with the old ballistics stat, because I am a freaking pan-ocean, well-trained orc troop, is 14. So minus cover plus range, 14 is what I'm
14.
looking for.
Now I'm a what?
You were a 11, straight up.
Okay.
18, a failure.
5.
Ugh. All right, rolling a saving throw.
Now you're in cover.
Yep.
So my damage is a 13. What's your armor?
Ooh, my armor. See, this is where we actually get to do some goodness, is 4.
So now we're down to 9, and you're in cover, so now it's a 6. You need a 7 or better.
7 or better. Easy. It's a 16.
Got it.
All right, so now let's roll off against this one.
Okay, same math. I need an 11 or
I need a
less.
14, yeah. He just crits. What the heck is that? 17, fail. All right,
So wait, what's your? Now we're back on the same. You need higher than a 6.
higher than a 6? Yeah.
They're hard to hit.
Oh my gosh, 2 failures, a 5 and a 4.
Why is Steven crying?
Because his lieutenant just died. Okay, so now we got to find a way to turn this around.
Well, one man against the world, dude. Now they used to have a thing in Old Infinity, and I doubt it's at this level, but when you were down to your last model, it's like the Super Saiyan mode. Do you remember this?
Yeah, there was something,
It was like
right?
you guarantee you get 3 orders. It was like you get 3 orders a turn. You get plus so much armor.
Well, Code 1 didn't tell us anything about that,
Yeah,
so
but
we're
it was
just going to
basically
roll.
like the come from behind mechanic, where you get down to 1 and they become harder to kill.
Okay. Can we see each other here?
Oh yeah, we were shooting each other.
All right, dude. Well, I'm going to declare a move.
Technically,
If you lean back, Go in the other room. Yeah, I think you can find that angle.
If you look from that guy, technically I think we can see each other. We won't do it because I should have given you an arrow on that, I guess, or you should have. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I can see a little orange back there.
I see.
It's all right. We'll say you can't see it. Let's just do this.
There we go. Okay. I think
I can see a little orange back
I
there.
think I need to just try to take out your lieutenant here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay in base to base here, but just
Move a little.
move a little.
And then shoot.
And then shoot 3 bursts on you.
All right, I
So
get 1.
You're in cover. I'm in cover. You're Lebowski. I'm Lebowski. 12, and your stat on BS is a 13.
So I need 13 or less.
That's right.
Because plus 3 minus 3.
Don't roll that crit, though.
16.
Okay. 1 success at a 9.
Okay, so what's your damage?
My damage is 13. Your armor is 3, so it goes down to a 10. And you are in cover, so it goes down to a 7. Minus 3.
Need an 8 or better?
Yeah. That's a 4.
Take a
1
damage.
wound. 1 wound out of 2. I'm evening the odds here, guys. All right, over to you, Mr. 3 Order.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 order.
Plus my lieutenant.
Come on, Fusilier, you got this. You absolutely have it.
Okay. Well,
This is kind of the beauty of Infinity, because I've seen where it's just like this model is just wrecking everything.
it's possible to just not die.
It's really cool.
My lieutenant's going to go. He's going to move here.
ARO. Shoot.
And I'm going to shoot you.
All right, same
That's my
math that we
lieutenant order.
had. So you're at a 13 and I'm at a 12.
But I get 3 shots this time.
Yeah.
That's a 1.
A 1, a 9, and a 19.
Yep.
So this is where if I roll over a 9, I will be in a good spot here.
But
I
you
can
need
cancel
over a 9 under.
under a 12.
Yeah.
There's a 15. Failure. So 2 hits.
2.
Ooh, I think I succeeded. A 12 and a 14 because partial cover is minus 3, armor is minus 1. Your damage is 13 with that. So I need to hit 9s or better.
All right.
So I succeeded.
Let's do it again.
All right.
Second order.
Bring it on. This is the same exact thing.
Ooh, 9, 9,
hits.
6.
Okay. I need under a 12. A 10!
Cancels all mine.
Cancels all of yours. So this is a cool thing we need to show about the system. Put your dice up there.
It was a 9, 9, 6.
So Zach hit a 9, 9, 6, which is 3 successes. They're all underneath his stat, his BS stat of 13. So those are all successes. Now my BS stat is 12, and I need to roll under a 12 for any amount of success. I rolled a 10, and so because my success is higher than all of his successes, they cancel out anything lower. So all 3 successes are done, and you have to take 1 shot right
And what's
to the face.
I'm looking for a 8 or better.
8 or better, yep.
11.
Success.
Now I only have 1 health left, so I'm risking.
You gotta be careful now.
I'm risking it.
Starts
Let's
with the lieutenant, and the rest of it's history. You know.
let's go here.
Okay. This is where you can really flex the can you see me mechanic. I've got an arc still, so I'm okay.
He's gonna move here, all hidden. Then I'm gonna use another action, and he will move here
Nice.
and shoot.
Yeah. I'll. You know what, man? Hold on, let me measure. Just see if this is gonna matter. Oh yeah. I'm gonna do a barrel roll just like that.
Barrel roll.
I don't know. That's risky.
No, then you aren't in cover, and I got an order left.
I know you do, but it also gets me out of ARO lieutenant territory.
That is nice. Because I basically want to make it when you go, I get like 4 shots.
Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. I think, man,
And you can fail the dodge.
you can fail at the dodge, but at a certain point, it's kind of worth the risk to try to have a turn that actually can work.
Yeah. Now,
But-
if you shoot back and you knock my guy out,
That's true. Let's go. But it's a game of bullets.
you need some things to go right here. All right, so this is a new guy, though. This is not my normal or my lieutenant stats. So what's my attack?
BS is 11.
So 11 plus 3 minus 3. So we're still at 11.
And am I in cover or not?
You're touching it.
We're counting the...
Yeah, partially obstructs.
Okay, so it's basically 12 to 11. Because I can shoot better than you.
1.
1
5.
success on a 5. And 18, a failure. So partial cover is -3. My armor is -1, so -4 from your damage of 13.
We need a 10 or better.
11.
Got it.
Still standing.
All right.
You got this, Fusilier. You got this.
I'll use my last order to shoot with that guy.
Okay. I'm shooting back. What could go wrong?
6 and a 7.
6 and a 7. A 5. 2 hits on me.
Gonna cancel your 5.
That's right.
All right. Needs a 10 or better, right?
Yep. 20 and an 8. No.
No.
What a last stand.
There
you
you
go.
It, right? That was
Yeah.
phase 2.
Isn't that crazy? You
Yeah.
can just crank through these, right?
Yeah, I'm digging it. And again, they're layering it in, and like you're getting reps with these models, and so it's like even me asking about the stats, like I'm starting to understand. I'm at 11. If I'm within 16, it's +3. If you're in cover, I'm -3. We're back
Yep.
to 11. I'm knowing the armor. I'm knowing the health. Even knowing some of the like stats on my lieutenant and lieutenant orders, because you can imagine even if we just started here. Where it's like, okay, here's how this works, except for your lieutenant has an extra order if you want it to not be secret. And they also have 2, like you have to explain so much more. So that's really good.
Yeah, dude, onboarding it is way, way cooler. So let me just run you through, let me explain how then we're gonna go up to mission 3. So then we have control the data core. The introduction to this mission says that it explains how attributes with values higher than 20 work. It showcases new combinations of skills to use during your orders, like the Discover skill, the Camouflage skill, and the Infiltration special skill, as well as the Spitfire, a new weapon.
That's a lot.
Spitfire, I remember being awesome. So attributes above 20 increase the chance of attaining a crit. So anything that you're over 20, you add that to the die, basically.
So if you're at 25, you have 5 of the die.
If the trooper possesses an attribute 20 or higher, the player will add the amount by which the attribute exceeded 20 to the result on the die. In these cases, any result of 20 or more on the roll is a critical. Makes sense. That's very nice. And so then we're going to add, I think we add the Knight of Justice and the Dao Fei. So we add our big weird stuff on mission 3. That's when things get wild. And then mission 4, we introduce silhouette templates to help determine line of fire. We introduce forward deployment, which you were talking about earlier, and mimetism, the special skill, the multispectral visor, and 2 new ballistic weapons, the boarding shotgun and the sniper rifle. So now we're getting like camouflage, but I've got a visor that can see camouflage
That's
things.
crazy.
I remember that being
Play
awesome.
and
in
counterplay.
Infinity. And then finally, in mission 5, we introduce the final mission of the rulebook, how unconscious and dead states work. So all the way up to here, we're just taking models off. Now we get into unconscious and dead.
Yep.
Introduces the doctor special skill where you can heal your models, as you might expect. And then medkit and monofilament CC weapons. And then at the end of that, so if you think about what happens by the end of this, we've introduced basic troops, commanding them, giving orders, basic weapons. Then we introduced a lieutenant who's a little bit more robust with a special skill. Then we're going to introduce how we do attributes that are really high. We're going to introduce Discover, Camouflage, Infiltration, some of the more tactical elements, chunkier elements of the game. Then we go to mission 4 where we introduce a little bit more in terms of like camouflage and visors and tactics in that way. Also get that sniper rifle for the first time. Has that +3 range band at 48 inches, which is like, that's the rare.
Across the board.
It's like across the board. Also just the boarding shotgun, which has a +6 at 8-inch range.
Yeah, you need to get in there.
So now it's the shotgun, right? So now you think about the tactics that you have, where you are and where your opponent is based on their weaponry becomes very important. And then at the end, we introduce unconsciousness, deadness, med kits, doctor ability, and finally monofilament close combat weapons. One of the cool things about the monofilament weapons, if I remember correctly, you just kill whatever you hit with them if they fail their saving throw.
It's like
no
a
matter how many
lightsaber.
wounds they
you
have.
just
Right.
smash through the armor and whatever else they have on.
So this is Operation Kaldstrom. This was a super nice thing that Corvus Belli sent to us. We wanted to get it on camera just because we continue to follow along with Corvus Belli and everything they're doing. Continue to follow along with Infinity as a game. This game has been around for a long time.
It's a decade plus now, right?
Many people have said that it's the only non-GW game that is accelerating in growth across the world. In terms of minis games.
like actual miniatures games.
Yes.
I know I've heard a lot of like, you hear industry talk, as it were, at various trade shows and whatnot when those have existed pre-isolation. And I remember hearing, you hear of like the health of overall games. You talk to a bunch of retailers. And Infinity is constantly, they do so I feel like a lot of games do this cycle, right? Like if you can, it's like they launch, they push real hard, and then eventually they plateau, they flatline, and then they slowly decay until they're gone. But this is definitely a game that like it was on this curve the whole time.
Yeah, just a slow roll.
And it's cool. It's like they're not trying to force the issue. They don't need. It's not like a collectible card like Magic, where like you have to have mass success to continue actually producing at a level that makes sense.
Right.
And they're just every time we talk to them, I think the thing that impresses me the most is like there's a genuine interest in just making a really great product. I never feel like it's like, oh, here's this thing we're releasing and it's going to be good for the market and we're going to make money.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like these are models we've always wanted to make and now we can finally afford to make this model.
Yeah, like an alt sculpt that we thought would always be cool,
Yeah.
or this flavor makes a lot of sense. It's also worth noting, Anabolic saying this in the chat, which is 100% correct. The vast majority, really all of Infinity, when you're playing at the kind of finished level, when you've onboarded successfully, even into Code 1, it's objective-based, right? So like itch things trying to go hack into this door and trying to steal this vehicle.
It's not like just murder things.
It's not just murder things. So if you consider the tactical considerations that you've already seen, plus add the objectives where you might be trying to infiltrate this building and I'm trying to keep you away from it, you can see how absolutely obsessed you could get with a game like this because it's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating little like different kind of minis game that it has carved out a niche for this exact kind of game in this industry.
Well, and I think it's probably fair to say this is the only miniature war game that's set in a sci-fi space and not fantasy. I'm trying to think of another, because this is way more sci-fi, right?
Oh, it's very
all
sci-fi.
the tech, it's like almost reminds me of like a wartime Android universe, right? Where it's like
100%.
futuristic but it's also like you still have swords around and the grenades and guns and like.
And all the backstory in Infinity is absolutely marvelous. I remember I had the lore book and I read it from front to back. And you get this entire history of like Hakaslam and like a rising of the Golden Age, and they're like awesome at doctors and stuff. And it's just like everything actually makes sense if you take our world as it is now and advance it in the way that they did. And it's like, here's how everything developed. You look at it and you're like, wow, yeah. Like that is a cool future to imagine that this could happen like this. It reminds me of, there's a show on Amazon Prime right now that has a lot of seasons, sci-fi show that I cannot remember, but it reminds me a lot of it, where there's like Mars and the lunar people and the Earthers. I can't remember what it's called. It's like Outlander or something.
Outlander's like time-based, right?
Yeah, that's a different one. I think that's a weird one where they're going back and like
Expanse?
Highlander team. Expanse, yes, thank you. It's the Expanse. This kind of gives me Expanse vibes, and I absolutely love it. So I would suggest anybody interested in getting into a heavier miniatures game, particularly if you're interested in sci-fi or the idea of tactical ballistics combat. If you like swords and capes, hard to deny that that's possible. If you like having total control over what you bring to the table, like when you get into the army builder, I can take like this Fusilier and say like, for an extra 0.5 points, I can give him a grenade. It's like, okay. And then for an extra 1 point, I can upgrade this combi rifle to a multi-rifle.
I don't know if it's the case. I doubt it is in Code 1. But I remember back in the OG, it was like you would get a model and it would have 8 different weapons you could put on it.
Yeah, no, that's the case.
And it was like, if you put the shotgun on it, that's what that model has.
Yep.
So literally the miniatures are a physical representation. It's interesting to me. It reminds me, in the loosest sense, of God tier in this concept, which is they made with Code 1, and I'm curious what everyone in chat thinks too, but with Code 1, they made a scaffold learning situation to basically make, and like the terrain, right? And we didn't assemble the model, so I don't know how easy or not they were to put together. But they made because to me, Infinity is the full miniatures experience. Now, they're doing it not on like it's more skirmish based, than something like 40K, right, where you have an army.
100%. It's tactical, tiny elite units.
But it still feels like a full miniatures game.
Yeah.
But the thing they're doing, it's interesting, is they're making the full miniatures game experience way more accessible. So if you're watching this and you're like, basically if you're wanting to get into a miniatures game, this is definitely more accessible. But the interesting thing to me, and this is what I'm curious about, what you think, is, and this is why it reminds me of God Tier, which is making a very nuanced, chunky miniatures experience easy to get into is simultaneously great because you can get to the point where you're actually playing way faster. Like we were playing this so much faster than, because again,
we were just right in there.
Yeah, it was just we were going.
We put together terrain and played 2 missions, and now we know how to play Infinity.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like part of the appeal of a miniatures game is the complexity and the depth. So like it's either the most genius thing to do, and I think if I were in charge of the Infinite IP, right, you look at it and it's like, hey, we need some way for people to get into this thing that's 10 years old.
Imagine right now trying to get into N3, right? It's like, there's like 20,000 models you could buy.
So it's even just as a starter set with 2 armies in it and the terrain you need to kind of start playing, and as like a onboarding learning scenario. It's not a 200-page hardcover rulebook. I think this makes a lot of sense, but like there does seem to be there will be a dissonance there for people that are basically, I won't say, it's like the ease of getting in appeals to them, and then they get to the experience and it's like, whoa, this is way more than
it gets too big, like
bargained for it. Yeah,
too heavy. That's possible. The other piece of that though is a lot of times if you scaffold it correctly, nothing is overwhelming by the time you arrive if you don't really know that you've gotten there.
Yeah,
it's similar,
I'm with it.
It's the same thing with scaffolding. We talk about this in video games sometimes. It's like I don't start out knowing that I can do a double spin jump to get up to that platform, but by the time I've gone through like level 3 and I've figured out the different pieces that tell me that that's possible, level 4 makes me do it, and now it's like, okay, well, yeah, I could always do that. But if you had given me that on level 1, I just looked at it and been like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So this is a really good way to kind of just slowly get you to understand the mechanics. And if it were me, I'd play mission 1 20 times, and then mission 2 20 times, mission 3 20 times, and just really nail those mechanics. And then you're on your way. I mean,
and I think this, one thing I would say about this particular box in this scenario that's interesting is like, as a contained unit, like if I had someone, and this is the case with all these games, right? But if I had someone that I was committed to get into this with, right? This is actually a great little, because we could basically do the missions until we're comfortable to go to the next one.
Yeah.
And it is a contained unit. So like it feels like out of this one box, you probably have 10, 15 hours of training missions before you're just setting up to like play.
Yeah.
And then at that point, right, like, but the concern with any of this stuff on the scaffold is like, if I'm in the middle of that and then my local community's way ahead, that's a problem too, right? You need a buddy. That makes sense.
That's also why Code 1 is good though, because it's not just here's a starter set for it, like Throne starter deck, let's say for instance. You buy that and you go enter the giant meta with it, right? But Code 1 is literally saying you buy this and the meta has to come to Code 1.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing a Code 1 event, all those veteran players that have all of these models, they can only use the stuff that you have access to. So it really evens the playing field, and I absolutely love it. And then thinking about like, okay, I'm done with this. I had a great time with it. I'm going to go grab that combined army bonus, and now I have a totally new force to play with, and I'm going to play those missions again. Or I'm just going to set up my own missions, and now I have new things to experience. And then as those releases come out, you continue to expand. So I think if stores will support it, and if veteran players will be willing to enter the Code 1 ecosystem and play with the people who are there to play Code 1, I think the entire Infinity experience is going to get way better.
Well, and from what you said, the 4th edition in 4 is supposed to be more like the next step past Code 1 than, because I feel like there's probably a pretty big dissonance between when you get to the after stage 5 and you're playing with Code 1 rules. The gap between that and N3 is probably pretty big.
Yes.
Because there's just a lot going on there. But if N4 is actually more representative of this, then I think that's a natural stairway up into the game, right?
They were designed side by side.
Yeah, and I think, if it were me, really, it's like I would start and I would literally get these 3 models ready and play that mission. And until I have my 4th model painted, I'm on that. It's I would literally like, hey, we have to get these painted. And again, I think it being a 2-player set is really good because like you almost want a buddy to be going through it with. And I think as that experience, like I could the appeal, and us going back and forth here, right?
Yeah.
It's like I totally get it. Like if our meta was us, and then whether it's isolation or you just don't have a community where you're at, I think this box is incredible for that.
It's so
right?
good
As
for
like
two people.
We're hanging out, we're gonna have this experience
If
together.
my brother and I had this when we were teenagers, we would have lost our minds.
Yeah, it's so dense. So Trust Million saying, how many missions are in the box? So the tutorial is up to 5, I think. But then the thing is, once you get to that point, there's objectives, and you can freestyle play forever.
You can
right?
essentially, do it however
It's like
you want it.
terrain gets set up, choose I think there are objectives listed in there somewhere, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
like,
not.
Tells us how to expand our collection afterwards, different things you might want to
There's all
buy.
the stats.
Here's the complete army list. So these are your reference points. So these are all of my Pano models. These are all of my Yujing models. So it's easy to look at it and say, here's the damage of the weapon. Here's what this unit has. And then we also even get like some introduction to the hobby section. So we got like how to clip and how to file and all of that, which is really
Here's
nice.
the thing, right? This is the intro guide. So this is something they were talking about on chat, which is Corvus Belli makes the rulebooks available for free online as PDFs.
That's right.
So there's a Code 1 rulebook. That's the full rule book.
The full rules. Yeah.
And Curtis saying there are real missions in the full rules book, which he linked earlier. So once you get to that point where you know everything in mission 5, you get the full rule book, and there's other units you can get. There's missions that are going to happen. There's releases coming.
And it's all contained too.
Yeah.
It's like saying you can play this Netrunner event with this cycle.
Yeah.
And like, I know you have more, but only this cycle for this event.
Let me get your take on this. Name of
Yeah.
Space Trash says this game and all our minis seem like they could benefit from a hex grid map. It just simplifies everything and gets rid of rulers, like how Skyterra is. Do you think Infinity loses something if you have a grid?
Yeah. So I'm a huge fan of grids because I'm an ordered perceiver. Weird. But I just like the cleanliness of grids. But you cannot deny how different the experience becomes when you feel like you are free to move and do whatever it is that's in your head. We've often compared things to whenever you feel like you can jump in a video game.
Yep.
Like video games where you can't jump, you feel like limited. But it's very handy because it's obvious you can design a level around very specific things that are going to happen. But once you can jump, it's like, well, players can like go nuts, and it feels very freeing. So to me, measuring, as honestly as tedious and as like archaic as it is, it also, you get this feeling that you can realize this army and your tactics however it is that you want. And there's freedom there that is really appealing. Now, obviously, as a game system, it can be a little clunky because, like, did I move, like this where I was out of cover, like this where I stayed in cover? We got to reverse it and make sure that we know. Whereas with hexes, it's like I took this specific path and I can point to it before I do it, and I move 4 rather than 4 inches. But the freedom of the moving like that is incredible. I mean, there's something really satisfying about it.
I definitely think the part of the magic of this game, arrows are really important. They're reacting on your opponent's turn. That was something that was a big deal when it first happened.
It feels more cinematic, less like a game and more like a movie.
Like something you're watching. And I think there's a vibe behind True Blue. You're going to like a comment in there from Nick.
Oh.
So
Nick, that's very kind. I am the smartest man alive.
That's right. He says it all the time.
Cat's out
Humble
of the bag,
too.
I guess. Yeah.
So the recognition from me of when I'm playing a miniatures game, there's a mentality that comes with it, right? And that mentality is surrounding the experience I'm looking for. And so ultimately, like, when I was looking like this,
Yeah.
and I'm like, can my guy see through this, right?
That's half the game.
It's like,
That's the experience. It's so fun.
that creates an atmosphere in the same way that, like, okay, let's say I'm moving this cat, and I know I can move 8, right?
Let's zoom in for you.
This is my model on the table. It's like, I'm moving. It's like I measure, right? And it's like, we can both see, like, technically 4 inches doesn't quite get me there.
But yeah, you're fine.
But, like, it's like,
get in there. Yeah, you want to go to the
there
barrier.
it is, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care. Like, if I bump this, it's like, oh, where was that at? It's like, because I'm not coming to a miniatures game for I want precision because it's like, I want.
Because it's fair.
It's fair. But, like, when it really, just like there's a very, like, laid back mentality where it's like, we both want to play a clean game, right? And we're not going to try to stretch it. And it's not like I'm stretching it to be like, this is significantly just better for me. And I'm not looking to get anybody as much as it's like, I'm just looking to, and this is coming back to miniatures, right? And cinematic is a good word because it's like, when you have painted models and painted terrain and a table that looks good,
You're just telling a story, right?
you just want to see it unfold, right? And it's like, if it makes sense that like this unit would get here and then shoot,
That's a way better story than like
then like
I'm standing in the middle of nowhere
yeah.
this turn.
Now, and it's kind of cool. It's like he didn't quite make it to cover, right?
Yeah.
There's that scenario and whatnot, but like again, it just depends on who you're playing with and whatnot. But I would assume most people in chat can back me up on this or not. Playing Infinity, it's like once you're like 200 hours into assembly and painting and learning, the point at that point is not like a technical get.
Yeah, right. It's
As
like,
much
well,
as it's like, look at what we have achieved here in front of us, and let's tell a good story.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I honestly, I think that our lukewarm entry into hobby miniatures for so long as people was because we had played card games forever. And so we brought that card game idea to a miniatures game. And it's like, card is very technical. It's very much like, does this reaction work here? And I'm trying to outsmart you and out-analyze you.
And like, part of that is that card games are usually very orderly.
Absolutely.
And it's clean. Like, to me, it's like, I'm never really a stickler for the rules because, like, I'm a stickler. It's more just like, this ensures that we both stay within the bounds of the rules.
Yeah.
But then once you can just let go and play miniatures for the fun of it, it's like, oh, because at the same time, it's like when neither of us have that mentality.
It's fun.
We were playing Skytear yesterday, which is what I would say is a card game. And there was a moment where, like, I forgot, there was a play where you didn't quite 100% understand what was
the shove
thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't need to get you on that. It's like, I want you to understand what's happening when you make a choice, because that's more interesting than like you just didn't know that's what was happening.
100%. Yeah.
And I think miniatures need a large dose of that.
Yep.
Especially a game like this where it's like you might be looking up 9 things and it's like, I thought my armor was 2, but it's actually 1, and then this and that, and it's like, just
like,
relax.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's chill.
It's cool. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, my lieutenant just got aced by 2 bad rolls. It's like, that's a movie? I mean, that's an interesting story.
Absolutely. I like this from Curtis. He says the players in Infinity work together to make sure it's fair and fun.
That's the way role-playing is at its best, too. When the DM and the players are all trying to tell the best story possible, that's when these games are at their best. And I think Infinity is an extension of that. And if you're looking for a miniatures game, a cinematic miniatures game that doesn't involve medieval darkness and all of the things that come with that we've seen a million times throughout this industry, this is probably the best entry that is not it's not Games Workshop, honestly.
And that's nailed it, 100%. And
yeah.
I've also heard, I saw people talking about this because I was checking in on Infinity when I knew we were going to officially get this on the channel. But one thing that they've also done that I know a lot of people appreciate is, like, in the 90s and 2000s, the games themselves were pretty sexualized.
Oh yeah,
on that front.
100%, yeah.
And I've noticed, like, even seeing these, the women in the models now, particularly, are way better.
Yeah, like normal.
Just like,
not just like hypersexualized.
Yeah, 100%,
Look at
not
this.
Weird poses and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they had that phase in Infinity for a while.
But in 2010, that's how tabletop was, and I'm just very happy that that's not what tabletop is anymore.
Right.
And it's cool to see Infinity doing that. But I totally agree with you in saying that, like, if you're looking for a actual miniature, a true blue, when I say actual, I mean like
it's a lifestyle.
All the boxes that you can check on a miniatures game in a sci-fi setting. This is unquestionably it. And this box took it from, because like it took work, and part of it was like, you go to Gen Con, you get a demo with fully painted models by someone that knows how to play, and conceptually you're like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
And then you get home and you have all these raw metal pieces,
and you have a big
like,
rule book, and it's
oh
like,
my goodness, what am I
help.
supposed to do? But this is how you onboard. This is the kind of product. It's the starter that is needed. So kudos to Corvus Belli.
Great job, guys.
I think you did an incredible job, and you continue just. I love seeing it, right? And we've been talking about this with like something like Skytear. Just having a publisher make the product they want to make because they want to make it. It's just, that is irreplaceable.
And actually addressing the problem. It's like, we need to onboard players. It's like, well, we'll make that product then.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Hey, we're going to get out of here. I hope you have a good rest of your Wednesday. This is a great little look at Infinity. I still just have such fond thoughts about this game. I'm not quite willing to jump in yet. If I didn't have Skytear, maybe. But it's always looming, right? It's always like I'm one step away from just buying it.
And I mean, it makes sense. Like,
now that we got these models, maybe
if you in this game, right? It's like, and this was the plan originally way back. It's like, if you get your 10 or 15 models, and if I don't feel like I need to go past that, but I can if I want to, that's contained enough. But at the same time, right now, I've got like 82 games.
Right.
Not even counting the throwbacks that we've been doing on Thursdays. I was telling you that, where it's like, we've been revisiting a bunch of old games on Thursdays for our throwback streams. And like, we've hit 4 or 5 of the games we played throughout our lives. And it was like reopening the doors to me, like wanting to like update decks and have like 8 or 10 decks for all those games. And my brain's like can't handle it.
Yeah, it's
just
a lot.
like, oh my, I can't have this many games on my mind at once.
It's a lot. Well, Michael Waldo is saying, thanks guys. My first look at this Beyond Painted Models on the web, very cool. The game is great. It's super fun. It takes a little bit, obviously, to get going, but it feels like nothing else in this space. It's super special. So it's hugely suggested from me. And Houston viewers, visit the Houston area Infinity Gamers. There's a big community down in Houston, from what I understand. Hope you guys take care with the COVID going on.
It's crazy
It's
down there.
really bad in Houston right now. So maybe for now, stay away. And then tomorrow we're playing 7th Sea, the collectible card game. I've never done it, but I like pirates because I'm a human being.
Because I'm a human person.
Take him out, Zach.
All right. Well, hey, thank you again for joining us, chat. You were great helping us along the way. Corvus Belli, thanks for sending this over to us. You're doing a great job. Please keep doing it. You're an absolute asset to the tabletop gaming community. We'll be back tomorrow with some throwbacks. Hopefully we'll catch you guys on future streams. Until then, stay safe.